horrible little troll life. Don't bother us. Yeah. Anyway, before we go on, Joanna's just dropped another £5 on the super chat list. Thank you. I appreciate the show Phil and you did this afternoon. You may have saved a life. Oh, thank you, Joanna. I hope we helped in some way. I know Phil and I
watched it. I'd still give Phil a bit of a bashing. I love him, but
yeah, we had a bit of a Barney there because he. Purity Vendetta. If you're watching, I did read your message, and I think you're right. Oh, it was just like I gave an example of something that could happen in real life as a result of this, and Phil's like, no, but that'd be against the law.
Hey,
and I'm like.
Not against anymore.
And he was sort of saying, and this is no diss to Phil. It's just
he's lovely.
He is lovely, and his heart's in the right place. But sometimes I think he doesn't. He sees things very much in sort of statistics and facts and figures,
we joined a little
rather
bit late,
than
but what they're talking
real
about
world
is
experience
the Supreme
of
Court
people
decision in the
who
UK
have,
to
lived experience of the police just being fucking horrible.
We're a little late,
to
but
them.
we're in here now.
And I've had people close to me arrested by the police for not committing a crime and treated in the most horrific way. And I can't really go into the details, but you can imagine, like, if someone needs help and this person needed help, the best way to help them isn't to strip search them and throw them into a cell. Do you know what I mean? Like, this happens, and you can say, oh, but there's a legal recourse for that. And it's like, come on, this is the real world.
So what?
Yeah.
Go up against the police. Good luck. Yeah. So Rachel, let's go to you, because obviously this has been a shit of a week.
Yeah. So chain of events, right? The case simply under the Equality Act was what's the definition of women in the Equality Act? And is it biological sex, or is it biological sex plus legal sex, which the gender recognition certificate gives you? And this case was ironclad, right? We know that when it was written, I'll come on to it, but we knew that GRC legal sex was added in there. It was all about, can trans women be on quotas and boards in Scotland? And that was the case. So it should have never been, even if it decided against us, we'd have been upset about it, but it should have ended and we'd have gone, oh, bugger, and nothing else should
Rachel,
have changed.
I'm really sorry to interrupt, but could you just run back over what the case was actually about? Because I think that's been lost in the news.
So the High Court in Scotland had said that gender recognition certificates give legal sex and therefore to trans women, and therefore when they do quotas on boards in Scotland, like they do gender quotas for male and female, trans women can form part of the female quota because they are women under the definition. And the High Court in Scotland said, yes, that's right. And then for Scot women appealed that to the Supreme Court in London. So it all came down to, now, if we'd lost that case, that was where it was going to end, really, for us. It wasn't going to change. We would have been annoyed about it. But what they've now said, oh, well, that now means it's biological sex in the Equality Act. And, we are just pushed back to Section 7, which is the transgender identity, gender reassignment protection. So, but 3 King's Counsel barristers in employment had said, this is slam dunk. Of course, gender recognition certificates give you legal sex under the Equality Act. That's how it was created. What else would they be for? So we were all ready for the decision, to go that way. So when that decision was handed down, no, the women is biological sex. It does not mean legal sex with the gender recognition certificate. We were all surprised. I mean, the legal profession were in meltdown, and especially in the employment sector, because they just didn't believe that that was going to happen. So now in the Equality Act, women means sex assigned at birth, and it does not include legal sex given to you by the GRCs, which is annoying. It pushes us, our only protections are gender reassignment Section 7. But, I mean, all that now does, that's where it should end. It does mean institutions it's a little easier for them to ban trans women from single-sex places if they have still a proportional aim in doing so. So that would be like a rape clinic or maybe a changing room. They might have a proportional claim if, you know, on privacy basis, possibly. And that would have to be argued and they'd have to demonstrate that. But loos, probably not. This is what my barrister friends are saying. Because loos are just that, you know, there's the privacy's already there. They're a cubicle, you wash your hands. So it probably doesn't affect loos, but it might affect other areas. So you can still use loos if you're a trans woman or a trans guy. Right. They have to justify proportionality. So if they go, so you're seeing, you know, Faulkner saying, if there's a female sign on the door, trans women can't go in there. That's not right. They would have the organization, if they want to ban us from a loo, they're going to have to justify it under proportionality. And if it's not proportional, our section 7 clicks in gender reassignment. And that is where all the cases are going to be. The cases are going to be with everyone go, oh, we're banning trans women, it's proportional. And a trans person's going to sue and go, prove it. And that's where law firms are gearing up. The Good Law Project, lots of law firms are getting their employment teams cleared up on here because they're going to be saying, you know, this is not proportional to ban a trans woman from a toilet on a service station on the M3. That's not what happens. And the trouble is, at the moment, we've got Labour politicians and Conservative, but Labour politicians, online transphobes, the Equality and Human Rights Commission, and of course, all our media sharing the same narrative. Female only place.
Billionaires.
Can't
the
go
racists, the transphobes.
Because the way you've just described it is by no means the way it's being portrayed in the media.
Yeah. It isn't like that. This is because I'm talking to actual lawyers. So the other reason that this is really interesting. They were testing to see if the GRC, if woman in the Equality Act meant with legal sex added by the gender recognition certificate. Melanie Field, who drafted the Equality Act, said it did. That's big news. The person who drafted the 2010 Act said, when we drafted woman, we meant it was to include legal sex. And otherwise, what does the gender recognition certificate do? And what now I've just seen on Blue Sky from some lawyers, they said, well, the Supreme Court must have known that. Maybe that's why they didn't want trans people giving evidence there, because we know that. And Melanie Field might have been called for the trans team, you know. Yeah. So by
the way, Rachel, I've just shared that link to that article about Melanie Field. What she said.
So this is big news. The Equality Act was drafted correctly. It always included the gender recognition certificates. What the legal scholars are saying, and I think Joe might have said it on. I think he's saying that this was definitely a political decision from the Supreme Court, not a legal decision.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of HR practitioners talking about segregation on LinkedIn. So we'll see you in court.
Segregation.
Segregate. We'll have to get a third loo. We'll have to get them out the loos. How are we I'm seeing the word segregation. And I'm telling you, if you're an HR professional and you segregate your trans people, you're going to be in.
In court.
You'll see you in court. Cannot in a workplace. That is not proportional in my view. And from the barristers I spoke to, that again, loos are not going to cover it in their view.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be the outcome this week, isn't it? Sorry, people that superficially read this,
they are.
Okay, now we've got a problem. We're going to have to do something. You've already got people going to the government saying we need guidance for our school. We need guidance for our library.
I'm seeing HR magazine. People have run HM magazine saying this, and it's wrong. And also, you need to reveal your policies immediately. No, you don't, because nothing has changed until you do a review and come up with your proportional reason for excluding a trans person. When you have that reason, and you do it and it's legally correct, maybe you then review your policy. So again, they're saying, right, trans women off hospital wards. Has the hospital done a review on that? What is it proportional taking a trans woman off a ward? And what are you going to do? If you stick them in a male ward, that's not proportional. That's not fair. That's discriminatory under Section 7, and the hospital trust will get sued. So if you are going to take us off single sex wards, you're going to have to put us in a lovely little private room on the side. And I tell you, transphobes are not going to like us having a private room, but they can't put you on a male ward because that's your section 7 rights, bro. So that's the other. So that we're going to see just banning people outright. I mean, that's what Labour are West Streeting will do, but there will be a lot of, again, more cases. Now, so everyone's going, oh, GRCs are defunct. Now, for the Equality Act, I talked to a barrister about this. GRCs are defunct as far as the Equality Act goes, but you can still get one and change your birth certificate, and that allows you to get married, taxes, death, be buried in the correct. So it performs as it should have done for everything else. You can get married in the gender that you want to, and all that stuff. And we don't know about passports and driving license. Technically, that GRC still connects to that. So again, I think there might be a challenge. If they try and change your passport gender marker or your driving license, it's not connected to the Equality Act. It's connected to your birth certificate or what you can prove with a doctor's letter and a letter from a medical practitioner. So that will be an interesting area, but it will be, I think that would fail. But, and again, so what I think will ultimately end up, as you know, I'm nearly done, is this may end up getting tested in the European Court of Human Rights. And it will be under a theory of what they call all alterum partem, which is Latin for you have to hear both sides in a case. It's the basic rule in the court. The Supreme Court did not have trans people in the courtroom. Our argument wasn't put. We heard that Sex Matters put extra evidence in that wasn't tested, but we didn't hear. I mean, the Amnesty put in, but we really didn't hear from trans people. And that might be one argument under the basic day one law school before the coffee break. You should hear both parties. Yeah. So the only problem with this is obviously it does feel like this was set up to do this, because obviously this is Trojan horse. If the European Court of Human Rights hear a case on what is a woman and trans rights, you know that Daily Mail is going to go, we need to leave the HRC, bendy bananas. They're telling us what a woman is. And I think that could be the reform Tory attack on the European Court of Human Rights. What I don't really like is obviously Blue Labour, as I now call it, are agreeing with this decision. They roll over everything like Wes has done on Sullivan Review, the Cash Review. They're taking adult trans care away at the moment. They'll roll over on this. And I think even in the Equality and Human Rights Commission is going to be dire, and I think it's going to be. Labour will accept it. So I've been saying to people, if you are, if you voted Labour and you're trans, don't. If you've got brothers and sisters and allies, don't vote Labour again. Mothers and fathers, don't vote. Because Phil actually said, gender critics don't vote on this issue, but LGBTQI people do. 28% of Generation Z are LGBTQI. Mums, dads, brothers, sisters, allies, work colleagues, they'll all vote on this issue. It's a massive bloody voting block. And they move it off to the Greens or off to the Liberals. It will have an effect, and fuck Labour. So that's where I am on that.
I can stress this. At the last election, I had 2 or 3 doors slammed in my face by people from the community because I was knocking on the doors for the Labour Party.
Yeah.
And at the time, I actually thought, I'm sure you've got this wrong, basically. I'm sure we're allies. And then look where we are.
Yeah. Obviously disabled people and old people, they've already buggered that off as well. But people and old people, they've already trans people it's 1% of the population. It's going to be 5-6% of the population voting on this, and they will go out to vote for this issue. Because you've just, as I've said, you have the right to use the loos and do everything you did before. But the way this country's going to go, people are going to try and exclude trans people, and you cannot exclude members of your society, and that's going to make people passionate. So my belief is you're awakening the dragon now, and people are, I think that's exactly right. Emails this week.
Your argument is absolutely well put in terms of the legal position and where this case actually came out, but the issue is people have read a headline saying, right, it's okay to discriminate against trans people.
But you know what's going to happen? I mean, trans people go in and out of loos very quickly. They don't want to be in there very long. None of them do. Most of them find ways of using I use all gender loos when I can. You're going to see you're going to see anybody that they consider not traditional feminine. So if they don't like a Barbie doll, you're going to see women who don't look traditionally feminine wrestling each other. We just had 2 transphobes wrestling in a blue in America, and they were both of them are gender critical, and none of them are trans. You're going to see more cisgender women getting chucked out of the loo than you are trans people. I guarantee it. It's already happening. And we will see more, and it will be some of the people that have brought cases against trans people. They're the ones going to get thrown out the loos for not looking like a Barbie doll, which is misogyny right there. Their judgment on how women look. It's not going to be trans people. I've been in and out of loos all my life. I've never been attacked or looked at funny in a loo. Nobody's ever judged me. I'm 60 years old nearly. I walk in, I'm frumpy in jeans. Nobody notices. You're invisible when you're over 50 anyway. I think it's going to be, and this thing that Graham was talking about with Phil, that when the Met Police go, oh, you're a trans woman, let's strip off, love, and they're not trans, which is gonna happen. That's going to be, that's when it's really going to blow up.
Okay, and so this whole thing to provide clarity has done anything. My background. Big shout out to Subtansky, who's just joined us. So we've got the full house at the moment. Well, until Wayne gets here. Wayne, we'll leave your rig up, mate. You'll be on in a minute. But
I'll drop off at 10:30.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you can take Rachel's slot. So we've got Mike Dix, we've got me, Graham Hughes, we have got Rachel Harris, we've got Scott Williams, we have got Mikey Famine, and we've got Tan Smith. Super Tansky, how you all doing? You all right?
Good. Are you genuinely suggesting that we're going to replace Rachel with Wayne? Because I'm not entirely convinced this is.
Well, I don't know if it's a great idea.
I'm not sure that that's a completely fair swap.
After all that, Graham, whose side are you fucking on?
I don't know if Rachel and Tan can stay with us for the whole show. So,
Maybe not the whole, but I'll definitely pop in. I more than anything wanted to make sure Rachel's okay, because what a fucking mess.
What a fucking week. So before we go on with that, big shout out to Zantisuken Amy for gifting 5 Politics Social memberships. That's really, really kind of you. Thank you so much, Amy. So Hex Value, Tim That, Annoyed AF, I can understand why, Carol Pack and Sandra Halford have all just become members of the channel. So congrats and welcome. And also we had a couple of super chats. 3 super chats come in. One from Alistair Kern. Thank you very much. Rachel, exactly. And also hospitals need to provide due care for patients, which we need to discuss. One Angry Pagan, thank you very much. £2. I broke down in my video on this yesterday, tears, etc. I'm not surprised, mate. It's been a horrible week for so many people. And seeing that smug turf motherfucker on a yacht looking like a female, what's he called? Andrew Taint. Andrew Taint. You know that picture of Andrew Taint with his fucking with his cigar.
Has anyone seen Andrew Tate and J.K. Rowling in the same room?
No.
If I did, I'd want to blow the room up.
Just saying, stick a wig on Andrew Tate. Look what you get.
I mean, if you guys notice, I changed my background. I saw all of those very proud ladies yesterday outside the courthouse. I remember them from history.
Oh, there they are. Oh, my God.
The same
they are the same women. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they are in their early 20s. They just look like that.
Yeah.
Because he does that to you.
Yeah, it does.
Hate ages you. Ivan Ambrose, thank you so much for the £10 super chat. I was silent earlier with Phil's intervention because I didn't have the mental strength to argue, but I equally disagree with him as much as the other people did who went on the record in the chat. Fair enough. I mean, we had a discussion about it, and I'll leave it for the people watching to decide. It's not a case of who's right. It's just more of a case of, what side of it you come down on. We were just talking about, I was talking about a hypothetical situation, like what Rachel's just mentioned, of a cisgender woman, a young cisgender woman who a police officer wants to see naked, and she's been arrested, not for being trans. I've got to stress this because I think there was a bit of misunderstanding, like I was saying that she's being arrested for being trans. No, she's been arrested for shoplifting. She's been arrested for attempting suicide, something you get arrested for in this country. And she's told that she's got to have a strip search. And you'd have a male officer who's a pervert who says, "Oh, I think that I have reasonable belief that you are trans." Now, how do you prove you're not?
Well, according to the Met's record of having countless sex offenders, probably by pulling her pants down.
But that wouldn't even prove it, because if you've had the full surgery, you've got a vagina.
Surgery
no. But they're going to use it as an excuse to, they will abuse their powers. I mean, every week there's another copper that's for years been committing countless assaults against women. And, it's rooted misogyny and homophobia.
Yeah, the Met alone 1,000 people they recruited to the Met with no background checks.
I'm not even surprised. Like it's so deeply rooted, and it's going to put all women. When I heard that news report yesterday, I felt sick to my stomach about it, like actually physically ill. And the problem that you're getting online at the moment when you're trying to take a stand against this is you're just getting people just coming for you from all directions.
Yeah.
The topic.
I was going to say, Tan, not that, Rachel's probably the bigger target, but you've had a pretty rough week.
Not on social media.
This week by being an ally. No, I know. And I've been looking at Tan's feed and just thinking, geez, girl, I don't know how you're coping with that.
I have no respect for them. Like I have no respect for these people, but you get people like what they'll do, and this is classic othering and scapegoating. They will accuse you of being the target. So they're just freestyle calling all women that disagree with them trans, because then it's really easy for them to you're one of the hated group, the scapegoated group in this case, because we all know that, like, the whole bathroom bullshit originates from like far right talking points. It's like they're eating the dogs, it's absolute bollocks. And so they try to make out that you're, however ridiculous it is, that you're a trans person, and then you're free to abuse then. But I honestly, it's water off a twat's back now. Like it doesn't even make any like difference to me. But it's so
water off a twat's butt. I've never heard that one. That's a UK saying.
It's a Tan saying, I think.
It's a very common saying here.
Twats have everybody knows that twats have oily butts, so the water just naturally beads up, rolls right off.
Twats have oily butts.
You should have I've got my own there's a Mumsnet thread about me that's been running for years, which is disgusting. I don't look at it. But I mean, allies, as Graham knows, and we know that allies go, have you seen this terrible thing about you? And they send you the link, which obviously allies shouldn't do. But you get these links to Mumsnet, and there's they're, Rachel's done this.
And anybody watching, please, if someone said something horrible about us on the internet,
don't send it
and we haven't seen it, let us live in blissful ignorance, please. Yeah. I don't need it in my life, because
I love social media.
You lovely people in the chat can send 100 nice messages, and then there'll be one horrible one calling me a paedophile or something, and that'll be the one that'll stick in my head. When
they do tend to do that. I mean, I've got like threads and threads and threads and threads on Tattle about people that spend every day poring over all my social media, things out of context and applying subtext to it.
Yeah,
it is like whether you're a trans woman, whether you're whatever variation of woman you are, you get it. I mean, this is why they're coming specifically for trans women.
Yeah,
like, this is why they're doing it. It's just another branch of misogyny. That's
what a sad life. What a sad life. I don't do that for celebrities who I like. Never mind. Just
I think it's a point. It's a point really worth making, because this isn't ever directed at the trans men. It's just something you're not hearing in the vernacular at all.
That was never a question. That was never a question in this whole thing. When we look at this case, no one's asking what a man is.
No. But they won't need
to. We're asking what women are. We're not asking what a man is. It itself is rooted in that is misogyny in itself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all. This is about women. It's not about trans people. It's about women. Judith Butler always says, she's the bit robo-feminist, who says you take trans women away from feminism fails. And it's because we are part of that umbrella, and we're part of that grouping. This started in 2016 when the think tank lost same-sex marriage. They went all the way back to the weaker set of people that didn't have a voice. Let's get the T broken from LGB. We'll get the T, it will collapse. We'll go after the G. There will be no LGB, and we'll go after women. Trans rights and same-sex marriage and women's rights of an abortion rose together in Spain, Ireland, Germany, and here. And when you unthread one of them, they all fall. And that happened in Hungary. It's happening in America together, and it's going to happen here. And they've gone trans kids. They've got trans kids, trans adults. Gay marriage is on the agenda of in dark corners of Tufton Street. And we already know voting rights and abortion are rights.
Abortion.
Abortion. It's about abortion. Yeah.
Weren't we linked? Because I saw a snippet of a video just before I came on when I was trying to promote the stream about apparently something to do with abortion activists. And even Hodge himself, wasn't he linked to like conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Such, and Jolyon Morn of Good Law Project is saying that this appears to be a compromised case.
Oh, there's I saw a video. I don't know if it's true. I saw a video that apparently Lord Hodge is J.K. Rowling's neighbor.
Yes, we have some super chats.
I don't know.
We have a couple of super chats come in. One is from Amy Walker. That's for £5. How can we coordinate with Voldemort to push all the trans votes to the Lib Dems? I don't know if the Lib Dems deserve those votes. I think one party needs to stand up and make a fucking big fuss about this. Yeah. Where are all the gay people? Where are they?
They're not anywhere.
There's only on the streets, burning shit down, smashing stuff up. No offense, Scott, but like, my God,
there are a few, but a lot.
To make a point, when I've been very quiet because I've wanted Rachel to speak. I didn't want to speak.
Thank you.
Rachel's back.
I'll shut up.
So,
shut the hell up, Rachel.
My whole point is
the time's over.
It's your turn. No, but this whole thing, this is about trans people. This is not about right now. Like, yeah, it's going to be about gay people at some point, and then I can have a lot to say. Right now, it's about trans people. So, but from my friends group, from the people, what I'm seeing in my echo chamber, it is very much in solidarity with the trans people. It's very much, this is wrong. This isn't right. We are gay men. We stand up with trans women. And that is, and it is like, there's no discussion. There's no debate. This is what happens. And
Billy, I wonder if they're going to start putting tariffs on my super chats if they come from the UK.
I know that there are going to be gay men at this protest tomorrow in Parliament Square.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I'm hoping to be one of them. I think that they're definitely 100%. I think there's going to be
what time's the protest?
Come out in the next sort of,
Yeah.
I've got it here.
More gay men talking and saying no.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I think
we really need it more than ever.
I've got quite a few, gay friends and lesbian friends that are angry. It's just that, I don't know, I think it's like, Stonewall riots, trans women were there chucking bricks, and Section 28, we were marching back then. A lot of my friends were Section 28 when we were there. It just feels we're not taking to the streets now. I know we've got the protests, angry, sabotaging bricks through Parliament, scaling ropes. Women should be out. If women understood that they're next and this is a stepping stone to them, what if like 1 million women marched on London and said, "But it's not in our name"?
It's women leading the fight, Rachel. That's the problem, and I think that's all been constructed that way.
Yeah, it is. They turn women against trans people, and it's their rights that are going to go. And you try. I mean, every day I stand on stage telling inclusive feminist networks and gender networks and companies that they're next. They don't know. They don't know that the UK used to be number 1 for LGBT rights, and we're now 17 for gay rights and 23 for trans rights, 23 in Europe, and the Council of Europe have listed the UK as a country of concern. The UN say this is a country of concern and comparing us to Hungary and Russia. And I tell clients that, and they go, "I didn't know, because it's not in our media." The violence against gay people.
The negative thing about our really bad human rights record is not going to be in the media for everybody that to see.
It's because that's where it's coming from. I mean, this is the thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Because hard right groups are being normalised on the BBC. Look at Douglas.
Douglas Murray, Jesus.
Murray, and you've got and you've also got the people being radicalised massively on social media, and like the bot farms that were swarming me, they weren't even real people on Twitter. Twitter's not like anywhere else online anymore, and that's where a lot of, and Facebook, and the other stuff that I'm seeing, like the bot activity, the the radicalization of people on Facebook. It's a really serious problem, and I think that it's all playing into this kind of like shift to the right that we're seeing loads of people get swept up in, and what is called the legacy media or like the mainstream media just isn't doing anything about it, because what's in it for them? What's their ROI on
positively encouraging it,
on being decent? No, they are encouraging it, and they're claiming it's common sense. There's nothing common sense about.
It's funny. Can I tell you a story?
Can you hold that story for 1 second? Because we had loads of super chats come in and I haven't addressed any of them yet. So big shout out to Deborah L. Thank you for becoming a member, and big shout out to all our new members as well. that have come online tonight. It's great to have new members. If you want to join our new members, all you need to do is press the join button at the bottom of the screen if it's available. Also, part of the people with Graham Price has been a member for 16 months. Says, power to you, Rachel. All the hugs, mate. So you get all the hugs. Deborah L. Over in Canada. Hello, Canada, for $20 Canadian. Hey. Canadian Brit here. Saw the ruling, unsure of the full repercussions, but saw the judge was Rowling's neighbour. Yeah. How does this land with them specifically, unless a back alley deals and greased palms and several involved players?
Well, I mean,
when a plan comes together, she said.
Feels like it was done in a gentleman's club somewhere, doesn't it? The whole decision was decided how they were going to do it.
By 5 heterosexual people who
didn't get the trans people have a voice.
Who didn't have any trans people come in and talk.
Yeah, we won't get
trans advocacy groups.
We know that gender recognition certificates for equality, but if we don't let trans people speak about it, we can rule against them. It'll be bloody good. Then they'll bring a case to the European Court, and we can say it's a foreign court and get it removed. Yay!
Bastard.
Yeah.
So are you done?
One angry pagan as well. Thank you very much for the super chat. Difficult to not feel disgusting as a straight man. I mean, it's not your fault personally, but the system at the moment, and my theory on all this is it's completely tied in with why they don't have safe routes for refugees. The exact same thing, because they want it to go to the European Court of Human Rights. So the European Court of Human Rights says, no, fuck off, you've got to take that asylum seeker. No, fuck off, you can't do this to trans people. And then they have their ammunition to say to the voters out there, we need to get out the European Court of Human Rights. Let's have a referendum that's really one-sided. And we just tell a bunch of lies and we say, oh, we pull out the ECHR. And then, I don't know, there's going to be loads of money for the NHS forever or something. And people will fucking vote for it. And before you know it, we won't have any rights. The only rights will be for billionaires to crush people under their thumb. But we'll have no legal recourse.
But you'll get cheaper eggs.
Yeah.
We already have cheap eggs compared to you. So, I'm in the barbershop today, and I've been there 2 hours, and then one of the barbers had to say something. So, did you hear about that verdict? Yeah, I heard about that verdict. I don't want to talk about it. Because I knew there was going to be a heated discussion. So, the other barbers goes, well, it's just common sense. I said, oh, is it now? It's common sense. Okay, cool. So when a female gets approached by a British transport police officer and they decided that female has something on them and they need to strip search them, and they say, no, I want a female officer. And they say, no, you look trans to us. We're going to do it right now. We're going to just strip search you. How are you going to feel about that?
They probably don't give a fuck if it's a guy, frankly.
But it was a guy, and but it stopped him in his tracks. It stopped both of them.
It worked.
It worked. I put that one example, and it worked. And I said, think about that. There was a colored person in the. There was a person of color in the chair. Sorry, Mikey.
It'd be your own people. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. Yeah, I was born at a different time. There was a person of color in the chair. I said, think about it like this. We got JD Vance. We're not going to do a trade deal with England unless they get rid of their hate speech laws. Who's that going to affect?
I think that's really important.
Yeah. Who's that going to affect? That's going to affect me. That's going to say that anybody can come up to me and call me an F-slur, and I'll be absolutely fine. And it's going to affect the straight man of color who's sitting right here, people are going to say things to them, and they're not going to be held accountable for those things that are said to them, right? Yeah. This is a slippery slope, and it's going to affect everybody if it continues to go down the slope that it is. We start with the trans, we get with the gays, then we start with the women, the people of color.
Well, the people of color are already getting it.
White males
across all the characteristics, get people of color.
But you've seen. Go sorry, Rachel.
Well, it's just the spinning of plates, isn't it? So, Twitter removed all its kept, so everybody gets abused on Twitter. So Google removed trans people from protection on Monday. Gender identity and transgender people can be abused on Google now.
What is the point in that?
Meta changed the rules so trans people could be abused, but also women can be owned and be called objects. So it's already tipped in on women. the hate crime against gay people in the UK has now doubled in the last year. So they're moving on because they've just about trounced us. We're going to be, it's going to go a bit, the papers are going to keep on at trans people. If we apply a case to the European Court, they're going to attack trans people more because they're men, because the European Court is going to rule for us and we're going to win that. So when they go, oh, but trans people are men, but look what they've just said, they're saying they're women. And we've been telling you for a year why this referendum's happening, that they're men. So they're definitely defunct, and that will swing the referendum. But it is a swings, and they're removing all the protections very slowly. They haven't done it for gay guys because there's still a lot of gay guys. They're partners in law firms and they're directors of companies. Trans people are nowhere. But they are... when the time is right, gay guys won't be able to adopt. They won't be able to give blood again. That's what part of the route map. Any of that, that will be where they go.
And you make a good point, because as Tan said, certain communities have already been abused. But the point with this one is that because it's such a small minority that they've managed to turn into this monster that's
1%.
trying to destroy society. It's perfectly acceptable for somebody that's been treated, in a racist way, to be anti-trans, because that's the vernacular. That's what they've been.
Well, in 2016, it also came on because the think tank in Washington, when the gender crit started up, it was on because of self-ID and the Theresa May, which we have in Ireland, which hasn't been abused. 32 countries have got self-ID. A man's never used it to become a woman to go into a toilet, because you can just go into the toilet. But with the self-ID, when she started doing that, they were like, oh no, gender record certificates are all right because you've had you may or may not have had surgery, you've had 2 psychological appointments. We're all like, it's never about the gender, it's self-ID. It's just self-ID. I've got questions. They were, but as the years have gone on, they've had their eye on the 6,000-7,000 people who have got gender recognition certificates. There were 1,000 issued last year because trans people were some people didn't trust Labour, so they were trying to get them to lock them in to give them more protection. So it's 8,000 GRCs actually out there now. So it's 8,000 people we're talking about. There's 1% of the population, but only, think about that. It's 1% of the population are trans and non-binary, but only 8,000, because it's a horrible system to go through. But they're now, they wanted to kill that GRC system, and they've become, when they entered the circle of Dante, where I'm just asking questions, I don't like self-ID, I don't like trans women in changing rooms, I don't like trans women in toilets, I don't like trans women, I don't like black sports people, I don't like Jewish people. That cycle of pain that they enter because the algorithm chucks Nazis, trans people at them, they become horrible people. They're not just concerned women. I mean, they convert a lot of women against trans people because of the fear in the Daily Mail, but they are.
And I think in terms of that, so this is something I was explaining to my partner today, that the thing that really disturbs me about it is some women that I highly respect within local politics in Brighton, of all fucking places. I've had stand-up arguments with them about them on this issue. Because wherever that is coming from, they see this as a hugely threatening issue to
because they've been lied
upper
to.
middle-aged women.
The famous cartoon, which sums it up, is the 4 women with the white hoods and the red gowns going, at least we got the trans people out of the loos. That's it. That sums up is what is happening. Women they do not want black people having black babies in the United Kingdom. They want white women to do that. And they do, so they don't want refugees coming in.
Because they're so cute.
They need... But but they need to get that. They need to get back to 2.2. The birth rate up to 2.2, because capitalism fails, and it is failing. We're in the dying embers of it, which is why billionaires are building rockets and bunkers. But they want to get white babies, so take away instead of giving them great maternity care, and so they can go and have a job and still have a career. They're taking that away. Get them back in the Barbie mode, get them at home having babies, let the men do all the decisions, take away all their power, because that's what's happening in America, that's what's happening in Hungary, and that's what's going to happen here if women don't get on the streets and stop attacking trans people and start fighting for themselves.
And I think that plays to that. Sorry, Scott. Sorry.
When we the third time I've tried to get him.
Sorry, Scott. I am going to shut up. I've got to go in a minute anyway.
That's not you. It's Mike.
Shocking.
But on a kind of brighter angle on this, if I'm not mistaken, really there's more of a majority in this country of just normal lay people that are actually all right with trans people. Like, if you were to poll the country, what do you think of trans people? It would probably be not bothered to, they can be trans all they want.
Yeah, acceptance has fallen a little bit, but that's the media.
We're talking about very vocal and powerful minority people.
Yeah,
thankfully. Powerful and rich.
Powerful and rich. The billionaires need them tax breaks.
Same thing. Yeah.
And you know why they want to go to space? Because guillotines don't work in space.
Yeah. So,
but the airlock does.
And I'm hoping that is going to be the key to getting us out of this.
I think.
I hope so.
I think that the airlock would be too kind. I'm thinking more of an alien resurrection dispatch.
Open the play doors, Hal.
Yeah, it comes back to the bunker story. I was chatting to somebody in a chat room the other day, not on social media, but a
chat room. That's old. That's retro.
I know. They still exist, right? You know, I'm not on social media. It's all I've got.
Welcome to AOL.com chat room.
Like black back screen and like neon writing.
Do you remember Yahoo Chat? Hello.
ASL.
Remember chat roulette?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Hello. What knickers are you wearing? Oh, this is not the chat for me.
I saw a lot of dicks on chat roulette.
Let's talk about the sensible stuff before we get into the daft shit.
I did.
I just want to say a big shout out to Jenny, Jenny D77. Thank you so much for the £2 super chat. I think you're on the money there, Graham. Oh, thank you. I always like being on the money, like the Queen. And also, she's always on the money. Not now though. I've been seeing more Charlies on the
King. I've seen far more King.
Yeah, Charlie Kingies.
They're gonna be Trump on the American money soon.
Yeah. Some good news from Chris C. Chris is saying, good news, Lloyd's, Halifax and NatWest have said they will continue to support their trans employees.
They will.
And any discrimination will be dealt with swiftly. And
Telegraph weren't very happy about that.
And Refuge, I'm glad I supported last year.
Yeah.
And Alex Mahon at Channel 4 did a post today explaining all the things that Channel 4 will do to
I got a lot of people Channel 4 following me on LinkedIn, funny enough, today. I think I do think that the beast has woken a bit, because even wherever you are on trans, even if you don't want them in your bathroom or you don't want them in your sport or whatever it is, the cruelty in the papers and the cruelty from the gender crits is beyond. It's just crazy. And I've got a lot of people, that I talk to. They're not great on trans, but they've sent me notes and they've written to me and they've talked to other people. They are, look, they don't agree with everything about my life, but they are angry because this is ridiculous. Because if you bang it, you're just banging a group that doesn't have a voice into submission.
No, it's openly.
People don't like that.
It's vindictive. No, it's openly vindictive, and that's the thing. And people you can feel when something's wrong. Like I've got a pretty strong moral compass, but I get this sick feeling when I know something's incredibly wrong. Yeah. And people will try and push that down if they're dickheads or they're falling into the conspiracy pipeline. But they'll know. They know this is wrong. They know that you don't go around battering minority groups. It's just grim.
No. And I think that was the case with the barbers today. They had to be reminded, these are people.
Yeah.
These are our family members. We have we have more trans men that come into the shop, but we have trans people that come into the shop. Like they're our friends, they're our neighbors.
Yeah. Well, when I train corporates, I always say when you're having a conversation at the water cooler that you don't, I don't like trans people in sport, and just remember the person you're having a conversation with could be trans. Every 100 people is trans. And they may not be out, and you may not know they're trans. Now, either they're going to say something to you, or they're going to go and have a bad day. But just shut your mouth. Just stop it, because you don't know who you're saying. You don't know who you're talking about.
People repeating headlines as well. People are so uninformed badly that they will see something, and they'll see like a right-wing talking point that makes it onto LBC or makes it onto the news.
Yeah,
and they will just uncritically repeat it. So they won't even know anything about it. When you push them and you go, oh, well, what's the name of that trans athlete then? Nothing. Because they can't even name it. They can't even name
I can't
the
give you an
person.
example. Who's the example of the trans athlete that won a gold medal in the Olympics? They'll look at you blankly.
Or give an example of a trans woman attacking a woman in a toilet.
Never happened.
In the Western in the Western world, that hasn't happened.
No,
there's not a single documented case.
Loads of men have raped women though in toilets and in gyms and in swimming pools and in parks and on and on and on and on.
Did the sign on the door not stop them? Did they not think, I better not do anything bad?
It's the magic sign that says, "Woman, I can't pass the
I've
magic
been listening.
sign."
I've been listening quietly, and I found a solution. Ban white men.
Fair enough.
Ban white men, and then
it's a fair cop.
Sorry, I shouldn't have collapsed.
I'm just saying, if you ban white men and then the crimes keep happening, then you unban white men, right? It wasn't them. But I guarantee you, no white men allowed in any public restrooms. All of the sex crimes go down dramatically. Just white dudes, you can't go to the bathroom.
We've talked
about this, haven't we? Tan, whenever
just don't let white dudes in there.
Whenever there's a killer on the loose attacking women, it's women who are told to stay indoors. No, men. That's it. Curfew. 6 o'clock. Be home. You're not allowed to be out in the streets, or you'll be arrested. Until they catch the guy who's going around murdering women, they would find him. They would find him that night.
It'd be so easy.
It'd be like 6:15, and he'll be in custody.
Hey, you big tall thing with the beard. I'm looking for a criminal. It might be you.
It looks like you're the one because there's no other men around.
Men must stay indoors. They're not allowed in changing areas, loos, water parks. I'm sorry.
You can't take the water park away from me, Mike.
We've had hundreds. No, hold on. We've had hundreds of years of these crimes against women, and you know what? Those ladies at the Supreme Court, you're 100% right. So we're gonna protect women. Lock up all the men who are on the street after sunset. Make sure that they are completely safe from the actual villain in the story, which is men. So lock up the men, save the women.
And we'll let you all out once you found the person that did it.
They can come out once the person's been prosecuted, which might take some time. Then they can come out.
Something that would make this a lot easier would be if you just started off by putting all men in prison and then make them prove their way out.
See, that it would probably be faster, you know.
So what they've got to do is before they get let out, they've got to prove that they're not a danger to women.
They have to sing a musical.
Do you know what is a danger to the women who are out there popping the champagne? This law, because it's just going to create problems for them. Did you see them? Did you see that? I'm not saying they were completely minging. I don't want to look at them
because they're ugly. Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, you can say that. I don't know if I can, but
they're mingers. Like,
if anyone was going to get accosted in a toilet for perhaps not being a biological woman,
no,
they'd be top of the list. They might not be allowed out if men had a curfew.
And but there's a misogyny in that.
Well, they were calling me trans as I was sitting here today with like severe gynecological pain. I was being called trans by the ugly women who honestly probably have cobwebs down there.
I'm glad you're on tonight, Tan.
Yeah, a couple of bats
say these things.
But they're more likely, ironically, not that I'm trans, but they're more likely to get accosted in a fucking toilet. Like they're the ones who are going to get.
Yeah.
Are you a man or a woman?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love it.
Valkyrie will be used against them. Yeah.
I wish I could see it when they get because
you're really tall for a woman. Are you a man or a woman?
They're not a childbearing age, a lot of them. So you've lost your purpose according to all the right wingers. You've lost all your purpose in life because you can't breed, right?
Yeah, you become a Martha at that point, don't you?
I found another solution. Cis women, whenever you're in the bathroom, punch the nearest other cis woman just to make sure that they're not, you know what I mean? Because and the logic behind this is if there's all these additional police reports from assaults from women, then you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh shit, you know what? Actually, no women in the women's bathroom. Just we gotta throw them off. Gotta throw them.
Yeah, because they're violent. They keep punching each other.
Yeah, we can't have this. There's fights every time.
But Mikey, do
No
you?
bathrooms at all.
It's just
Mikey,
a brawl pit.
In America, Mikey, two gender crits met each other in a loo and they had a punch up, accusing each other of being trans.
You get out! No, you get out of here!
Again and again.
It turns into a sumo match. It's like like the Israeli guy that shot the other two Israeli guys on vacation in Florida because he was like, Palestinians. It's like you're both Israeli. All right.
Oh my
People are so fucking. This is what radicalization does to people.
Yeah,
this is what happens when you
boils
fall
their
down the
brains.
conspiracy pipeline.
Scrambled eggs up there.
Yeah.
Can I just say that the way this conversation's going,
Bye,
as a cis white male, I'm feeling slightly persecuted here, and I think.
Oh, see, here we go.
Here we go.
Mike's gonna red pill now.
The whole world's against us. It's
I'm white
About
too,
you,
and,
isn't it?
I don't feel persecuted. I understand that people that look like me.
No, so do I.
Okay, but Rachel needs to get going. So can we say a huge thank you
Very
to
welcome.
the whole
think it was a
panel,
really good
to Rachel for
explanation
coming on
earlier.
tonight. I know it's been a shitty fucking week.
It has. We'll get through it to all the social.
Yeah.
We'll get through it. We will.
Just know there's a couple hundred people watching this who absolutely love you, and we love you. And you know, you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Thank you.
And now's the time for the rest of us to step up and really make the biggest
ban
fucking
white
fuss
men.
about this.
White
Yeah.
men.
And ban white men.
Talk about
Just ban them
We'll
from
talk
all
about-
public places. It'll be better.
Let's carry on talking about trans aid next week. Right.
They're the problem.
Rachel, can I ask a very quick question about the protest tomorrow? Is it appropriate for all of us to go?
Allies, trans people, absolutely.
1 o'clock, Parliament Square, if you're near London.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Are
I've
you
been
guys
told we're
going?
going.
Yeah, we're thinking of going. It depends because I have sleep disorder. So if I have a terrible night, I can't. But if I don't, I'm going. Yeah.
Can I just throw out one word of caution?
Mask.
Because they Peter Thiel and his Palantir, which they've been field testing in Gaza for the last 2 years, is what they've been using to track protesters. So they hack everybody's cell phone that pings a certain tower. They do all that shit, and then they go into your maybe leave your phone at home.
Yeah. What am I gonna watch on the train? I can't watch all Graham's stuff. He does so much bloody stuff. I can't catch up.
You never shuts up.
Because they keep your face warm. You've got to make sure your face is nice and warm. So always make sure you wear balaclava.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you.
And it might be sunny. Maybe some sunglasses.
Yes.
See you later,
Rachel.
Rachel. Bye.
Might
Bye.
be sunny, maybe some sun.
There might be. It's not sunny there. What am I saying? You guys don't. Have you guys ever sold a pair of fucking sunglasses in England? Like
I wear them constantly, Mikey. It's been so sunny that people have just been walking around lately. Like
the parasol industry just dried up because there was never any sun.
everyone's just
It's been
pointing,
really
like,
sunny here for the last 2 weeks.
everyone's just been so
beautiful.
surprised.
Now Mike's
Everyone's-
got digital enhancements to look like sunglasses.
No, these are real.
Those are CGI.
I've been wearing them all day. It's been sunny here today.
Yeah, it's been
Did
really
you
sunny
have
lately.
glasses on top of your glasses?
Yeah,
They're
that's
clip-ons.
clip-ons.
Oh no way!
All right, Mr. 3025.
I'm going to wear them all the way through now. This is fine. I look like some evil.
Well, there was that guy.
They're very,
in a
villain.
TV show
Oh,
called A
steampunk.
Different World.
Yeah,
He used to wear,
steampunk.
yeah, it's very steampunk. But there was a guy. It was a TV show back in the day called A Different World.
Yeah.
A bunch of college students, and the one kid always
The
had
flip-ups. Yeah.
I don't remember the flip-ups, but did you know you really looked like the composer Eric Satie, who the
No.
Nerd.
Okay, I'm going to have to Google that now.
French. Honestly, he's written my favorite piano music. He was like a French bohemian. Never made any money. Was bitterly angry at the world, and he had glasses just like that, and he had a beard a bit like yours, and he'd
Perfect, I'll
write
go with
really
that.
good insults to people who shout on his music.
I like him in the bowler hat. That's
He
my
used to
Facebook
threaten to shit on them.
profile picture.
Like he used to threaten to actually shit on them. And I went to the little place in Paris.
That's why you like them.
That is a big part of why I like it. Also, he's
like Sharon Osbourne. You know what I mean?
Threatening to
post shit to people in the mail.
throwing a ham over the fence.
Yeah, it's throwing ham. She used to literally mail people or like her kids' poo to people like that. Pissed her off.
That was her poo.
She'd get Kelly Osbourne to shit in a box and then she'd mail it.
And Kelly Osbourne was like, "You bet."
Kelly Osbourne was like, "Why do I have to do this again? And
why have I got to do this again,
Mom? Stop doing this.
All I can say is that
unlock this bathroom door. No, Mom, you need to stop.
Yeah. No, you can't have my shit. It's mine.
With the current status of my new relationship with my bells, I can't guarantee not to shit on people at the moment.
That's what you said with your bells, and I thought you were talking about your rejuvenated balls again.
No, they're doing fine, thanks, Dan.
Your bells.
Bowels.
We got a super chat in from Joanne. Thank you very much, Joanne Mason, saying thank you, Rachel, and thanks to everyone in the chat just saying bye, Rachel, and giving lots of love to Rachel, because I mean, look, it is so difficult right now to be part of that community, and I just my heart absolutely goes out to trans people everywhere in this country and around the world who are having their rights just trampled all over by fucking. Are they bored? Is that it? Is this whole thing just because humans have got to a certain point where they can find out anything, you know, in the little phone in their hand? They can go anywhere on a plane. They can visit any part of the fucking world, and yet they're still bored. They're still like, oh, fuck this. I'm bored. I want to fuck shit up. I want to make people miserable.
It's fucked. Tech has advanced faster than we could ever imagine, and it's messed with people's heads really badly. I don't think that people are reacting well mentally to having the ability to communicate how we do now. I really don't. I think it's a massive issue that everyone's just ignoring, because, you know, the advancement has been pretty extreme in a pretty short amount of time when you think about it in terms of other advancements. So yeah, like
it's exasperating, isn't it? Sometimes I did a tweet this week that was quite popular, and I've been accused of being a retard constantly. Like,
the R
all
word
day,
is
all day.
And on Twitter, there's also like, I don't know if you're on Twitter, Mikey, but the racism is just another level now. Like people openly saying the N-word and like kill the N-words, and it's just like fuck hell.
So let me rebut what you said. You know about it more.
Well, no, it's not being taken down.
No. I'm saying all the bigotry. You're aware of more of it. The amount has not changed.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't think society has changed at all. This is who we have always been. And because you can find out the racism in Australia, in the UK, and anywhere, it's available to you now. So this is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we treat people and how we treat a new minority has appeared, right? And it's the trans community. And how are they being treated everywhere? The same way Western societies always treat a minority, with fear, with hate, with disdain.
Yeah, suspicion. And I was more referring to the fact that they've taken away the reporting, so you can't get it taken down anymore on, whereas other places you use those words, it will get removed on like Insta still and Facebook still. But
and it's like you were saying about the, Facebook, Google, and Twitter all acting unanimously to start bringing down the protections that they had in place. All of that's political, and I think the current, it's a bit like chat roulette, isn't it? They've just gone through the minorities until they've found one that everybody can get angry with, because it's such a small minority and they don't have a loud voice.
It's the fastest track.
Socially acceptable too, seemingly, like, because they can always use this bullshit guise that the right always use, that it's all about protecting women. Women don't even come in. Women and
ban white men.
The crap ban white men, and the crap that we face is being weaponized and used as a conduit to promote hatred towards other groups. It's not in any way justifiable. No, if it was, then groped statues wouldn't have greater protections than real life women. We wouldn't only get a rape conviction if we're killed during. Black women would be 4 times more likely to die in childbirth, entirely preventable not prevented. I think that ties into what Rachel was saying about them only wanting white babies, and it's so fucked. And the thing that enrages me is that you've got all these like turf men, right? I was attacked by Graham Linehan. Do you know who Graham Linehan is, Mikey? Have you heard of Father the TV?
I've been attacked by him. It was fun.
Right, he's like this divorced ex-comedy writer. His wife left him and his kids left him because he became obsessed with hating trans people. Although a well-known trans woman said that he had tried it on with her at one point. I don't know if that's true or not. Allegedly, reportedly, whatever. But he is just obsessive. And in the replies to, because he makes a point, even though I've blocked him, he doesn't like consent apparently in terms of me not wanting him to. But he attacked me and he screenshots my stuff and compared me to like nuns that would drown children. And then as a consequence of that, I had men in his replies coming, oh my God!
There's a Hannah!
You're never here!
There's a Hannah!
There's a Hannah James, and there's a Julian Gore in the chat. All right, Hannah, hi, Jules, how you doing?
Ah!
Woo! This is the first.
I know.
Awesome.
I think we're just all raging with anger. I think that's why we're here, aren't we?
I was just taking a out of Graham Linehan.
No, you're the wrong way. Yep.
How his men in my Twitter replies were basically throwing like sexual threats at me, like actual like, bend her over without any lube, shall we? You know, that kind of shit. And he was just letting it slide. And it's like they always prove what they are. Like they don't give a shit about women. They don't give.
I think regardless of the potential libel, I think you've hit on something that is at the core of why a lot of white men are doing this as well. I think they're terrified of. I think they're terrified of dating a trans person by mistake.
Libeled anyone.
Oh, that's what.
India Willoughby constantly said that Graham Linehan.
I think.
Reportedly, I don't know if it's true, but it's all right. He's at the moment trying to crowdfund because he's defamed someone else, and a lawyer was pointing out today that he hasn't been very clear about the fact that he has clearly libeled someone and defamed them. So I think he's got enough going on. Plus, Graham could always sue him for calling.
Well, he called me a pedophile. He called me a groomer. Yeah. He said I was a groomer.
There you go.
So, I mean, do I have to go get the Pornhub breakdown state by state? Do I have to go find the one for the UK? These guys in the South hate black women and they hate trans people. Not according to Pornhub, buddy. Not according to Pornhub.
Right.
Well, the whole thing is.
If we look at the past, sorry, Julie, real quick. If we look at the past, though, this is a very real fear for straight white men.
Yeah.
We used to vilify them when we watched them in the 90s and the 2000s on Jerry Springer being fooled by trans people and laughed at and mocked. The trans people themselves being mocked, and the men that were duped, that were the poor men that were duped. This is where this is all kind of. It's part of it.
Russell T Davies spoke about that in, was it Cucumber, where the guy can't come to terms with the fact that he's gay. It was one of the trio series, and he caves in that guy's head with a golf club. He can't come to terms.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he can't.
Seen Cucumber?
This is like look at Jerry Springer in the 90s when a guy would find out he was a trans woman and he would attack her viciously.
Yeah, viciously.
Wasn't there a reality show where they were all vying for a woman's affection?
Yes.
And she unalived herself.
Well, they took a risk. They should never have let that happen anyway. Like, because knowing how men can react.
What? There was a game show.
Yeah, it was a reality
TV show, and they were all pursuing this beautiful woman, and then the joke was, "Ha she's actually a trans woman."
And their reactions were so noughties. It was so like 2000s.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
horrible.
Who greenlit that?
Channel 4, the same folk that gave you Benefit Street.
Yeah,
and Space Cadets, where they said they made people think they'd gone into space.
Benefit Street was Channel 5.
I think they did that with what's her face, Katy Perry this week.
Trans people, the new poor people, and then poor people are going to again become the targets, like, aren't they? I mean,
big shout out to Greg in our chat. Thank you very much for the $5. No turfs on our turf. And don't forget the F in TERF stands for fascist. Don't forget that. Doesn't stand for feminist. Big shout out to Julian in the chat there. Julian, I'll put your TikTok thing up, which is bedhead_Jules. And I got Wayne there, and it just says Tory. There you go, Wayne. Sorted.
Hi, Tory.
Sorted,
Wayne.
mate.
That will never.
I put Hannah down as a feminist campaigner. I didn't know what to put as your profession, Hannah.
Oh, don't put my real one, because that's just
No. It's a disgrace.
Troublemaker.
She's a DJ. It's not a real job.
She's professionally beautiful, literally.
Literally that.
Can you change my heading to Dreamweaver and Visionary, please?
Yes.
Vision holder.
Yeah, we've done that, Wayne. Don't look at the feed.
Right.
Yeah, we've done that.
Dreamweaver and Visionary. All right, I'll work on that.
Enter. All done.
But no, what I think is really interesting is tonight, obviously, Rachel came on earlier. And Scott, obviously, you really wanted to talk about this, but also Hannah, you've been spurred into making videos. You haven't been making videos for a while, but this issue has meant so much to you that you've started making videos on TikTok and have, talking to people about this matter. And it's the amount of shit that you get for it. Like, are you going to keep fighting? Is it worth it? Do you want to do this?
Oh, definitely. Like, I took a break because my general content on TikTok is the patriarchal society we live in, and if a cis white man says the same things I am, they're listened to. Women aren't, even though it's our lived experience. But what the fuck would we know, And I think women's voices in this conversation are really important, because trans women are women. And, they will come for the trans women now. It will be women. And this will affect cis biological women. Absolutely it will. The women who think it won't are categorically wrong.
Yeah.
It's not a jump, really. This is what this is all about. And I'm shaking even talking about it right now. I am so viscerally angry that even though I took a break for my mental health, because the hate, like sexually violent hate that you receive as a woman who discusses the kind of society we live in, even in a fairly self-tone policed way that I choose to do my content format in, is so disgusting. But this was the one thing I was like, nah, not having that. I'm back. She's back.
No, they do that to you. And I've said to you a number of times, like, the reason why I stopped policing myself and why I categorically refuse to say not all men is because they're going to attack you anyway. Women have been hounded offline for talking about decorating or baking cakes, and it's always been sexual threats. It's whatever they're doing, whatever they are doing, it's the fact that they are there. And it's, do you know what? Like, I might be like that little Elmo character with the fire, with the, it's like, that's what I feel.
Fine.
I'm like, come on then, because I'm so desensitized to it now. But you're right, you get daily, it's either like sexual, like comments that are positive or really negative, or threats. But it always comes back to that, always. And it's just...
Hannah, can I ask a question? Do you think that that if you end up talking their own policies, if you're a right-wing female presenter, do you think they're getting that kind of hassle? Because I'm just wondering if part of the motivation for a lot of women joining this is that they don't get that hassle because they're saying the shit that these guys want them to say, basically. I wonder.
You know what? And I'm a man, but I'm going to say yes, because when you look at...
Thanks for speaking for me, Scott.
No, when you look at the abuse that Tan gets, she gets it from the left and the right.
Oh, it's gone blurry.
Slow motion.
Yeah. Scott, what's happened to your internet? Sorry, you keep breaking up. Are you on Wayne's internet?
Scott, get off my internet.
It must be.
No, were you saying about the left and the right? Because it comes from both directions. But the women
It comes from both directions.
Right wing, and they talk about this stuff because you get people like Julia.
I knew you was going to mention her, Hartley Brewer.
Well, Linda Paul was the victim of an upskirting, which Lawrence Fox then posted online, which he has been charged with a sex crime for, quite rightly. And she was on there basically openly victim blaming Narinda, openly basically blaming her for having her picture taken up her skirt.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just pick-me's for the Tates, and because they're not selling what they're not selling their real beliefs. I don't think. I think they're just hate mongers. So they go with whatever the cycle is and they rage bait it. So I don't think they even really believe it themselves.
The thing is, people like Julia Hartley-Brewer do basically reinforce the patriarchy, because men will turn around and go, see, she's all right with it, so you should be all right with it.
with people of colour, with Sunak being
exactly.
Being racist, going, well, this person's brown and they think this, so it's fine for me to do it.
There are people like that in every group. There's been trans people on the telly that have gone, my name's so-and-so and I'm a bloke.
Oh, that person on LBC, I don't know where the fuck.
Miranda.
I don't know where Miranda.
And yet so many of those are now having it bitten back on them because of this new legislation, this new thing that you can see them saying, well, this is a bit unfair on me. And I'm saying, well, the leopard ate your face. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So my potential sister-in-law is Steph. She's a beautiful lady.
Potential sister-in-law. How does that work?
Because she's my brother's girlfriend. But
okay. Sorry, I thought you were like.
He hasn't asked her to marry.
I was like, how does that work?
No. But it's on the cards.
I'm sorry.
Me brother's a soppy git, and he's like head and shoulders in love with
her. No, it's fine. I was just being.
It did feel to me a little like she was applying for the job, and Wayne had to go through the CV.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like just pushing it through. Do you know what I mean?
Let's see.
No, you get on with it, bruv.
Scott's just fucked off. He just walked out.
75 words a minute.
Shook his ass on the way out the door.
Wayne's over there. 75 words a minute. Impressive.
Before we go on,
the thing is, like, I know for a fact because she's a fiery scouse girl. And I know that
I like him already.
She is like
biased.
She's massively fired up about this. I've not spoken to her, but I've seen her posts, and I'm like, I will.
Has she done any TikTok videos?
I don't know.
I saw a Scouse woman going fucking ballistic about this. It was brilliant. She was just like absolutely raging.
I can check. I don't really use TikTok.
Tell me if she's on TikTok. I might watch one of her videos.
Before
we go on, Wayne, Zante
I put it on the speaker view
Amy,
to try to
thank you very
get
much.
people talking more
for the
visible.
£10 super chat. Many cis men only attack trans women to cover up their desire to experiment. That's why many of them want a secret relationship. In their
100%.
ignorance, they think all trans women have a dick.
Well, how many people do we see doing that? Catholic priests.
Oh God, yeah.
Catholic priests saying that they hate homosexuality, and then they turn around and they abuse young boys. How many times do you see it?
Sorry, I'm going to have to look at this. I'm pretty sure. If I'm misremembering this, please shoot me down. But I'm pretty sure there was a study done on TikTok, not TikTok, Pornhub searches for trans porn, and it was. It was massive. It was massive in Canada, apparently, and red states in America.
Also in the chat, Story Tiller because Teller was taken. 02. Does that to me 02? That's the best name on here. Thank you very much for the super chat. We need a BBC drama. We can call it Turf of a Nation. Oh, I like what you've done there. Here's £5 towards the budget. And Optimistic Nihilist, a former Facebook executive, Sarah Wynne Williams, wrote a book recently exposing the depravity and corruption of the corporate elite. Zuckerberg's trying to get it banned, so read it before it's gone. Thanks very much for that, Optimistic Nihilist. I've actually seen some interviews with Sarah Wynne Williams talking about her experience working in the upper echelons of Facebook, and it's a bit of a weird tale. It's just bizarre. It's this guy who's got all this money and he doesn't really know what to do with it, and he doesn't really have any real friends, and he's just a bit odd.
Right,
anyway, Wayne.
I won't imagine it. It's Republicans love transgender porn a lot. With more than 4.7 million transgender porn related Google searches each month per Aferest.com.
That was for research. doing a report. I got a report I got to do on Monday, and I just had to research some stuff.
But they've highlighted on here. This is lawsuit.org, showing that all the transgender porn searches are from deep Republican red states in the South of America.
That's quite ironic, isn't it? Because most of the people that have actually attacked people in bathrooms are, a lot of them, senators or pastors. or like what was it, like scout leaders, and these are all the ones that are really the groomers and the pedos that they're projecting onto drag queens and trans people.
There's a lot of projection, I think,
if they're
involved
trying
in
to
this.
cover something up, aren't they?
Yeah. There was a show back in the early noughties, had Richard Dawkins on it, who I know he's not our favourite person anymore, if he ever was. But he went to America and he interviewed this guy called Ted Haggard, who's one of these American preachers, who's a multi-millionaire, has like one of these mega churches. And this guy had a huge go at Richard Dawkins, saying it's because of atheists like you that there are homosexuals, that there's prostitution, and that people take drugs. And literally about 3 months later, this guy was caught in a hotel room, off his tits, on crystal meth, having sex with a rent boy. And do you know what he said? The devil made me do it. And all his flock forgave him. He said, oh, well, we've all been tempted by crystal meth and the nice juicy bottoms of rent boys.
It was the best weekend of my life. I had the greatest time.
But great.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
You haven't got to look that far away from home when you look at people like Keith Vaz or what was his name? Barry or what?
Barry?
Barry from EastEnders?
No, the washing machine.
Barry Obama?
What? Barry Sheen?
No, do you remember? He was
bang, and the dirt is gone.
Barry Gibb.
He was caught in that sting.
No, Barry White.
In Dolphin Square, wearing a bra.
He was caught in a sting with a dolphin. What?
Can't get enough of your love, baby.
Why was he trying to stick it in the blob hole? What?
Barry EastEnders shagged a dolphin in a square.
I'm so confused.
Right, you're...
Does anyone else? I've completely lost the thread now. I don't know what we're talking
Wayne's
about.
ability to make this point about seven.
No, because you all went off on your own little tangent.
Wayne, I've made your little sign for you. I've made it, so it's just come up. It says Dreamweaver. And, oh shit, no, it doesn't. Oh shit.
It just says
I don't
Tory.
think the graphics are working.
It says Pube Weaver. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wow.
Typo.
Sorry, and Jism Booby. Oh, sorry about that, mate.
Sorry, I'm
supposed to say Dreamweaver and Visionary, and it said Pube Weaver.
I think
and
you're
Jism
fine.
Booby. I don't even think that's a word.
Oh no!
I'm so sorry.
Like one of those words that Super Tad just loves.
Yeah, you've set her off.
So if I can,
can we take a 30-minute break for Tan to stop giggling?
If I can,
Can I just stress one of my heroes was dissed a moment ago? And
Barry from EastEnders.
Barry
Alex
White
is quite right. It's Barry Scott of Sillet Bang, not Barry Sheen, the motorcyclist.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
How dare you?
Barry Scott, bang, and the dirt.
I'm suddenly questioning my entire youth, going, Barry Sheen, paedophile? What the hell? I'm going to have to Google this.
And he makes the dirt go away.
He wasn't shagging dolphins. He wasn't a pedo.
So
Sheen, dolphins. It's
an
headlines tomorrow.
Shag a dolphin. They're very intelligent.
What was the point here? What is the point here?
I don't know.
All right,
I'm gonna
grab
ganged up on a baby dolphin today and killed the baby dolphin. It was really traumatic for everyone who watched it. Did anyone see that in the news?
No! Don't tell me about that. Fuck.
Dolphins are awful.
Go back to jism boobies.
Okay, jism boobies.
All right. I have a point that I'd love to make.
Please.
Please.
We beg
I'm
of you.
gonna do a little history here. So, in 1968, in Memphis, MLK gave his. It wasn't the "I Have a Dream" speech. That was in '63, and when he gave that speech, he was disliked by, I think it was 66% of white Christians. This is MLK. The little black boys and little black girl, like, hated at the time. Did not 66% disapproval rate of him. So then he does in '68 in Memphis, he does his last speech, which was about the Poor People's Campaign, which was about bringing together marginalized groups of all stripes based on the fact that we're getting shafted by the upper class. They killed him the next weekend.
Yeah.
The civil rights never finished. We have always, all of us, have been in this continuing denial that the civil rights era has not completed. It's not over yet. We don't have an equal rights amendment over here in the States. Trans people don't have rights in either one of our countries. We're not done. But because we all reflexively went back around like in the 90s, I think was the next time that the Pew Research had polling on it. But in the 90s, everybody, 99%, 91% loved MLK and thought everything that he did was great. At the time, it was the opposite.
Mm.
So the society is not so much shifting in a way that we're like, oh, it's getting worse. The veneer of work that we have done previously, the paper mache that we sold ourselves as gospel is breaking because the bad people figured out that it was paper mache. These things need to be put into law, into constitutions, into backed pillars of the society, as in like our society doesn't do X or doesn't do Y. We don't treat people this way in this society. If you want to be outside of that, the door is right there.
And also, we could just, the one way to step towards that would possibly be just to put all the white men in prison.
Just to start.
Oh, try it.
We'll go through your social media and then we'll determine whether or not you should come out. Because I mean, there was just another shooting at Florida State University.
Was it a trans person who did it, Mikey?
This is what I'm saying. And then we had 2 domestic terror attacks on January 1st. Who talks about it anymore? This is the complacency. This is where it happens all the time. You treat it as normal. And I really feel for like young people because they don't remember what the before time was. Like if you're 20, you like maybe the tail end of Obama you remember, and then it's been mostly Trump your entire life. This is fucking normal to them now.
Yeah,
and that's
the Overton window has shifted because of propaganda from the ADF and the Heritage Foundation, and they have shifted the Overton window over. Well, they started before Trump, but when Trump came in, it gave them a reason to then. And now we're seeing it from them in the UK.
Yeah.
Their funding has caused what's now happened this week.
Don't forget Liz Truss and Reform and UK,
we already know who the enemy is, but the enemy only wins when we fail. And we have been failing different sects of this like proper future that we're all trying to get. People have been getting left behind, left, right, and center. And when people get left behind, they join the other team. And now there's so many people on the other team that they don't even remember what the goal was. They just want to destroy whatever is left because they got left out.
And they still think they're left as well. They still think they're progressive.
Yes.
And they're not. And they're not. They're in the pipeline and they don't realize it.
Because they're finally feeling something good, right? Like I'm winning something. This is a step forward. Even though it's a completely regressive, harmful, something that's going to have to, like, whether they know it or not, it's going to get undone, right?
That's because they simplify it. They simplify everything. Yeah. So this new Supreme Court ruling, they've simplified a complex issue, and we all know what happens when we do that in history. We've done that in the UK history all the time. Section 28, simplifying queerness.
Yep.
Simplifying queerness as promoting homosexuality. And
that was only what, 1975 that
no,
got
80s. That was the 80s.
The
80s you couldn't even, like, gay men couldn't even...
no, sorry. So 75 was the mortgage female only mortgage thing, wasn't it?
No, I think it was later than that. I mean, you could still rape your wife in the 90s.
No, you couldn't get a mortgage unless you had your dad as your guarantor.
Oh god, yeah, but like, I mean, as I was like, it's still legal to rape your wife in the early 90s, and in the 80s, gay men couldn't teach, and then you just look at how gay men were treated with the whole AIDS crisis, which was horrific.
Yeah. But Jules, can I just circle back to your point about the Overton window? Because you're correct in what you're saying. The Overton window has shifted so far to the right that centre right now looks left.
It
does. That's how bad it's got.
And that's how you know gender critical women who believe that they are feminist and fighting for women's rights exactly. They think they're left leaning and they're not. Because they're in the pipeline and they don't know it because they've been fed all this right-wing propaganda from ADF and Heritage Foundation.
And also people are naturally not that far away from committing violent acts when you think about it. philosophers have talked about this. Like, people just don't need much of a push
No.
to be pushed towards being.
Yeah.
It's easier to be right. It's easier to be right leaning, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, yeah. What Mikey said about Anna Kasparian and Jake Hugo, they are like absolute benchmarks of that particular scenario, because they think that they're left, but when you look at their rhetoric and what they're pumping out there, it's kind of right-wing propaganda. It really is.
An example that Mikey will know is Bill Maher.
Bill Maher, yeah, 100%.
Oh my God, what a
Bill
sleazeball.
He's total slimeball.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but he had dinner with Trump, and Trump was charming, apparently. So, you know.
He's a left-wing libertarian, isn't he? Which is an oxymoron. So
he's not any of that. He's a rich fuck who likes to get wasted around kids and ask them about their what happens like when you find porn on accident. Like, what do you do? Like, it was so
by
weird.
accident, Mikey. By accident. How many times have I got to tell you?
But the idea that this week,
Wayne, have you heard yourself speak? Okay.
But he had dinner with Donald Trump.
Trans women are popular on Pornhub, so I've heard from a Canadian who said that.
I had citations. Right?
You did have citations. You really covered up what you were really doing. Yeah.
I've been doing an in-depth research project on. But
the idea that he has the idea that he has dinner with Donald Trump, then does a monologue on HBO with his audience to say that he's actually a charming and nice guy, and you go, yeah, psychopaths, they're charming. That's not the judgment. He's not charming. It's his actions that you should be judging, basically.
But he's not charming.
No.
But he is. He's just an asshole.
Is pervasive.
Yeah.
The pipeline is pervasive. People don't know that they're in the pipeline. It's pervasive.
No. I think he's a good example.
I really think people do know that they're in the pipeline. It's the easy path.
It's easy,
because there's two kids beating up a little kid, and you can either not do something or do something.
The two kids or the little kid.
Yeah, or just stand there and watch, which is what a lot of people like. That's the Democratic Party. Like, they just like to watch the fight. They don't actually get in there and help save that kid from getting his ass whooped. So the society that will survive all of this bullshit, especially the stuff going on in America, is the people who are willing to jump in and save the kid getting jumped. Like, that's who is going to be the winners at the end of all of this, because their shit is so toxic and so self-destructive, and it doesn't work. You can't govern with it. Like, look, they finally got their racist in chief. Look how well things are going. The stock market is in shambles. People are getting sent all over the place, and we got the Supreme Court involved in shit every other week. This is not how it's supposed to work. And slowly but surely, the crust is coming off of their eyes, and they're like, I don't know if I like this. Of course you don't fucking like this, because it's stupid. The only thing
speed is the issue, Mikey. We did Brexit, didn't solve the problem, and yet it's still not. We're not allowed to talk about it.
And now we've got Nigel Farage talking about his war with the education system.
Yes.
It's already starting here.
Also saying that we should nationalise British Steel at the same time, which is like a left-wing policy. It's a bit odd. What they've done, and this is quite evident, that in the last 10 years, they sat down and went, what issues separate people on the left? Mm-hmm. They identified the EU and trans issues, right? Trans rights.
Low-hanging fruit.
And they have used that as a wedge to cleave huge numbers of people away from the left, because they've been taken down a pipeline, the right-wing pipeline. And they've been enticed in by this little bit of bigotry, little bit of, horribleness to a certain group in society, and then it's flourished from there. We need to do the same thing to the people on the right. We need to identify the things that they argue over, the things that they have disputes about, who's really got the moon in the bucket or whatever it is. And we need to press on that pressure point really fucking hard and make them fight amongst themselves instead of fighting us.
Keep sowing the seeds.
Him shutting down all the VAs was the biggest gift he could have ever given to the left, because the veterans are the darling angel boys in the American ethos. And to take their care away for what? For tax breaks for Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos? Good luck selling that to Iowa, to Idaho, into all the, because a lot of these rural places, that's the only opportunity for those boys to get the fuck out of Cornville and go see something, go do something different with their life, maybe even go to college, because there is no path for them in farming country.
Yeah.
And now you took all of their, now that they've come back from war and now you taken away their benefits that they've earned. All right. Good selling.
Do you know my worry is though, Mikey, is that AOC is not going to appeal to those people.
Oh, she's crushing right now.
She's crushing, but she will not appeal to those people because it's this approach of like crush the oligarchy, and that's amazing. But it only appeals really to our demographic.
No, but her message is the oligarchs are taking your son's care money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they're going to bang her up. They're going to put her in El Salvador at some point, I reckon. No, it's going to get.
They can try.
That's blown up in Trump's face. That's going to blow up in Trump's face.
Though. He's already done the whole, basically like the plot of Brazil, where it's the Buttle Tuttle thing, where it's like someone's got like a slightly different name. They've discovered it. He's just fucking staying there in the place where from above it looks like there are dead bodies with blood pouring out of them. So, you know, if we're living in the plot of Brazil, which is essentially based on 1984 to some extent, like some of the worst aspects of 1984 with the whole Room 101 and the authoritarian society, and then I mean, if you want to see what's going to happen, watch Brazil or watch Years and Years by Russell T Davies, which is coming to Netflix soon, which
on Netflix next week
accurately predicted everything that's happened up until now. I just wish we could fast forward to the final episode, to be fair. But yeah, Emma,
no spoilers.
If you guys haven't seen it, there's like Emma Thompson plays like a kind of female Farage, and the terrifying aspect is our temporary prime minister was modelling her clothing on that fictional dictator. Like was wearing the same.
And I have to say, genius casting. Because you're looking at a national treasure who ends up as a fascist dictator. It was genius.
But it taught me a lot. I mean, Russell T Davies is always on the mark anyway. He's amazing.
Apart from Doctor Who.
Well, I don't know. I've never watched Doctor Who. I'm afraid.
That's so contentious.
Yeah, this is the kind of subject that divides the left. Right, we're in big trouble now.
I love Doctor Who. For the same reason that I love a lot of things that most people think of a bit kitsch.
Is it David Tennant? Is it Tom Baker?
It's just not.
It absolutely enrages the gammon, and I love it. I'm
trying to tell you about the Boer War, like about how I found out about the bloody Boer War. Basically, the British inventing concentration camps. You're like, well, I think I prefer the earlier Doctor Who.
I think the black camp Doctor Who is a testing ground for can we have a black James Bond?
Anyway, back to Tan's point.
Oh, big twist.
Anyway, back to the concentration camps.
Before we.
Sorry, no, Graham, you carry on.
I just wanted to say thanks to Deborah L for a super chat, just very quickly. I don't think people know they're in the pipeline. They think that they don't want to be they think they want to be heroes and populists and sell the dream, you know, and convinced that the utterly wrong they are divinely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Sorry, Tan, what were you going to say?
All I was saying was like he was ahead of his time in the sense that like in one of the episodes, it's not a big spoiler. The fascist Emma Thompson's talking about erstwhile camps and using old army barracks as places to hold refugees, and then it turns into people that are like ne'er-do-wells. Then it's like, you know, no due process, and she does this speech about how she talks about us inventing the camps, and I was like, the British invented concentration camps. And that it was then that I found out about I can never know if I'm saying it right. You think it's different, Graham, but it's Boer
War. Boring war. Full of balls. And yeah, we basically left people in camps and let nature take its course. And the last Conservative government at camps like Manston and others let people die. Like they let people
fall ill and let nature take its course. There was a concentration of people. They were literally leaving people in overcrowded processing centres. And I was like, well, this feels familiar. And it was years and years I predicted it, like in 2016, because the first episode is just after Brexit, isn't it?
And Churchill did it, like their big hero was in charge of those camps.
Yep.
So.
Yes.
Does anyone read Otto English's stuff, the fake history?
I love Otto.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike. Did you just have that just to hand?
It's just over here. Like, I've got a series of.
Otto would love this. Otto, I love him. I've hung out with him a bunch. He actually told me the story about him hanging out with Jacob Rees-Mogg in a strip club.
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant story. Anyway, you were saying.
No. It's. I mean, they're just great books to read, and his new one's out, I think, at the moment. Not that I'm being paid by Otto to promote it, but it's.
That's put me off strip clubs for life. I was a big frequenter of strip clubs, but Jacob Rees-Mogg in a strip club.
He ended up
upstanding Christian.
I would up. Stephen Hawking in Stringfellows.
Yeah, don't knock Stephen Hawking.
Oh my god!
No, he ended up going to because Otto's. I think he wouldn't mind me saying he's slightly posh, and I think he knew some really posh people.
Well, he is from Hertfordshire.
You keep going you sound like fucking when you pull that closer, it's worse.
Hello.
Yeah, don't. You sound like a Dalek. Going back to Doctor Who.
No, he ended up in a strip club with Jacob Rees-Mogg. He walked into Stringfellows, and there's old reverse Jarvis Cocker standing there, and he's skinny pinstripe suit at the bar. Can you imagine the look on Jacob Rees-Mogg's face at a strip club with just titties flopping about and everything? Must have been.
Jules, I hope you ain't got to pay for the home counties, mate, because you're in bad company if you are.
Oh,
home county.
Oh, mate, I'm in reform country. Unfortunately.
Hello.
So am I.
He's in Essex.
Yeah, but Wayne, that doesn't mean you have to vote for them.
Yeah,
I've got a reform.
Come up north.
Grand.
Much more sensible.
We look a lot like North Korea.
Tan,
or China.
What was even worse, arguably, than what happened in the Boer War was the Mau Mau uprising in the 50s. This was in Kenya, and at least 20,000 people were killed. Some of them tortured. At least 1,000 Mau Mau rebels were executed. They were fighting for independence. And the British, on the way out of Kenya, burnt all the records. They burnt everything.
The British did this?
Yeah, the British burnt them in 1962, I think, on the way out.
Because Kitchener was...
no, Kitchener was the Boer War. That was 10 of the century. Yeah, that was.
And Churchill.
This is in the 1950s.
Churchill was later.
Macmillan.
But Liverpool have an affinity with the Boer War, don't they, Graham?
What?
The cop end of Liverpool's Anfield ground was named after Spion Kop, where that battle. Yeah.
I thought that was during the Zulu Wars. I didn't think that was the Boer War.
No, it's Boer War.
Oh, Churchill did the starving of all the Indians, didn't he? He starved
Yes.
He was in favour of concentration camps.
Yeah, of course he was. He was a scumbag. People have revered him for years, and then the right go, "Oh, you can't say anything about Churchill." He was a monster. The guy was an absolute monster.
He was the lesser of two evils.
Yeah,
that's the problem. You either get a Churchill over Hitler, and if Hitler had got in, we wouldn't be having this discussion
today. Got in. I don't think he'd have ran.
If white men were already banned, I mean.
Oh, Wayne! It is the perfect plan. It is the perfect plan.
Perfect. Hannah, we were talking earlier on about how our theories, and Mikey came up with a great theory, which is that all white men should be put in prison so women will feel, be safer. And
protect the women.
That men have to start off in prison and prove their way out.
Oof. I've got to say, it's really powerful.
It's the one who goes, oof.
No. Look, it's really powerful because it's making me feel uncomfortable. And I think it's something we should be using because if we can make these people just try and put themselves in the position of the minorities that are being persecuted everywhere, basically, just think about it for a moment. Just go, hang on, that's not fair. And you go, yeah, that's kind of the fucking point, basically.
Yeah,
it's either extreme or exactly along the same logic that they're using. So which is
it?
Am I crazy or am I doing exactly what you guys want to do?
Am I a genius?
It's malicious. It's malicious compliance. You're right. Protect women at all costs. put all the men in jail or lock all the women up? Like, which one are we doing? Because I'm on board with your plan and I'm here to help. So should everybody just get all genitalia removed, and that way we won't have to? Let's just do that, and that way we never have to deal with anything ever again.
Yeah,
let's all just jump in a volcano. That way we won't even have to do the whole genitalia thing. Let's just.
Men get their genitalia when they prove themselves to be.
Yeah, they get them. Like,
they're handed out at the door.
They start off like Make a Breeze Mog, or like, it's just like a Porsche's bonnet down. There's nothing there.
It's instead of a graduation ceremony, the headmaster just standing there holding dicks and he's just handing it. And here you go. And shakes his hand and off you go. Slap on the butt. Good game.
Here is your phallus. Here is your phallus. Here is your phallus.
Thank you. And then just well done.
Well done.
And just slaps it in his hand.
Slaps it.
I believe this belongs to you now.
I can't believe this is the first time that Hannah and Jules have come on, and this is what we're giving them tonight.
At least it's funny. At least it's funny. It's not just weird.
And relevant.
Yeah.
It is quite relevant.
But it must be removed.
Andy Burns suggesting you get a cock license. You have a license to cock.
A license to breed.
Fucking Scott's got up in disgust. He's like, I don't live in a world without cock. Fuck you all.
Scott's got to get a meat cleaver.
Idris Elba, license
away
to
with
cock.
thee.
License to cock.
I would watch that film.
It'd just be 90 minutes of him rizzing people.
I just want to watch 90 minutes of Idris Elba all the time.
Whoa.
Like this.
You know, we've talked about doing an all.
He goes where he goes.
We've talked about doing an all transgender episode of Father Ted. I really want to do now, because that picture of JK fucking Rowling, just to wipe the smirk off her fucking face. I'd like to do an all transgender version of Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
So there's an easy way to defeat.
You need to get the voguing Hermione on it.
What's her face? It's a real easy way to defeat her.
I think it'll be like the robots in Westworld. It'll just it'll fire brain. Malfunction.
You guys won't like it because it's mean. But what has to happen is you just get a bunch of very attractive men publicly say, not with your dick would I ever fuck J.K. Rowling. And just get a bunch of popular people out. And what it does is it breaks her quote unquote womanhood because she feels like she's this. You just gotta be mean to people.
I think that's already been broken though, Mikey. I think that's the problem. I think someone said to her 10 years ago, are you trans? And she went, what?
What did you say?
What did you say? How fucking dare you? Just because I give a man's name to the books I write doesn't mean I have a penis. Ah! And then she's gone absolutely. And they've said, well, you're not particularly well endowed in that area, are you? So
I just don't get her beef. I really don't get it. Why pick this particular subject to
boredom?
It is a new minority, and this is a way to assert yourself in the culture. In the society, there are tiers, there are castes, and you always want to make sure there is at least one tier underneath you. And new minority, get underneath me. I'm in control of you.
She came after asexual people as well recently. So it's nothing. It's not even about trans people.
Whenever new people come up, they got to get put on the bottom because we need to be on. And you notice like the gay rights.
Asexual people, who are they harming? They don't have sex with anybody.
They're literally not literally minding their own business.
It's insane.
They're reading books.
They're sitting there in their back. They're in their back bedroom with a belt sander. You know what I mean? No one gives a monkeys about that.
Sorry. Tan just asked a question. What was that, Tan?
I'm just trying to figure out how many more gingers there are than trans people in Britain. Because could it be this? Trying to kind of assert herself as a dominant minority?
You know what I'm going to use, don't you, Tan?
What?
You know what I'm going to use to find out.
Oh, you're going to use your evil pocket.
No. ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Mind you, I actually early on I thought ChatGPT wrote songs, right? Because I don't know how Aid does all this. He makes these weird songs to start off his show. They're all like weird AI songs.
That's just his brain, I think.
So I typed in like a political song in the style of Wu-Tang, and it created one of the most wicked raps I've ever seen in my life, like ever seen.
We're not friends anymore, Tan.
No.
Who's typing? Stop typing. Whoever's typing, turn your bloody mic off.
Stop typing.
Oh shit, Mike, not Mikey, but Mike has put lock up the white men.
It was just
the name of my new album.
It was just a text, and I kind of like I got it. I had it in my hand, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like I just kind of like shut it down, and I just deleted the chat because I didn't ever want to see that again. Because I was like, this isn't normal. This shouldn't. How does it know this stuff? You know, like
if I hadn't met Aid in real life, I would have sworn he was AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got an answer. Sorry for my typing. I've got a mechanical keyboard, and it's very, very not loud.
It's
but obviously
chalky.
It's so loud.
It is pretty chalky.
It's chalky. I love it. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Graham's a hater.
It's like you're from like an old sound effects bank from like a 1980s film.
Right. So here we go. These are the figures. So apparently in the UK, approximately 6% of the UK population have red hair. That's 4 million. Right.
4 million of them.
Compared to 0.5%.
Soulless.
They're everywhere.
Soulless. 0.5% of the population in the UK are transgender. And obviously, you've got to consider not everyone in the census calls themselves transgender.
There's more trans people than ginger people.
No, there's more ginger
Less.
people. Less.
Less ginger people.
A lot less. No, there's a lot less trans people than
A
ginger
lot
people.
less trans people. A lot less.
1,000%. Is it 1,000%? I think that sounds like
6% and then 0.05% or 0.5%.
Yeah, that's more than 100%. 1,000%. Sorry. Yeah, 10 times. 10 times more gingers than trans people.
That means I could be living next door to one.
And trans, so you know.
So if the ginger people
I could be living next door to a ginger, Graham.
Not looking. Look up the white men.
If you just do like a bubble of 10 gingers surrounding every trans, there will be an impenetrable shield around each trans person. 10 to 1. I like those odds. Gingers are good in the scrap.
There are 17 times more people with red hair than there are who are transgender.
Can you all do a trigger warning for Graham about this, please?
Why? Why?
Ginger.
Yeah, I need a trigger warning.
The best. What are you Graham
in the arts
ally?
and sciences?
All of a sudden, Wayne? What's going on here?
I'm protecting my brethren.
No, man.
Just because
he brought it up.
He's so ginger that his ginger is evacuating his head.
Just because we didn't have any friends in school and didn't kiss a girl till we were 27 doesn't mean that
if you touch each other, you explode
from life, you know. And if you touch each other, we explode. I used to have a ginger girlfriend that I can quite honestly can't confirm that is true, but in a good way.
Mike, I like your background. I like that you're getting on board with this.
That's the only way.
I've got to join the organisation, otherwise I won't be.
They'll
be coming for me unless I join the team.
Yeah, so you're already siding with your captors. You're getting Stockholm.
Exactly. Mike, if you go to the protest tomorrow, can you take that as a sign with you?
I think we'll call it
banner.
I think we'll call it a Lutwum.
Just take it. It's going to be
awesome.
Are
you going to the protest tomorrow?
I'm told. Jane tells me we're going. So
1 o'clock, Parliament Square.
I'm working, but I'll try. I might just get on the bike.
Jules?
Yeah, Mikey, what's your excuse?
Jules?
I'm taking apart a shed. I wish I could.
I would show up, but I owe money over there. So
how many times have you heard the excuse I'm taking apart a shed?
Wow,
I mean, that's just lame excuse. Jules.
How many sheds do you think there are?
We've actually got a few people in the chat, by the way, saying that they are trans and ginger. Jamie Hill, and redheaded and trans, and Gina Lefty, Joe Lefty. Minority of a minority of a minority of a minority. Ginger and trans.
So what you're all missing is Jules is the caretaker of an allotment that has been bought by a capitalist builder.
Capitalist builder.
And he's having to dismantle these sheds so they can build a massive load of slumlord flats.
Right.
That is actually my.
And he's taking apart.
The patriarchy. Jules was like, I'm not going to stand up. Not the patriarchy, trans people. I'm not going to stand up. I'm just going to take apart a shed. And
that's my excuse. That's my excuse for everything.
That's your part.
I just want to say,
Jules
I think Jules should get
fucker.
I think Jules should get a pass because he does have a Def Leppard shirt on. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Well
spotted.
I am loving the Def Leppard.
Oh, so it's not lock up all the white men. This is how this works. As long
Only
as
the ones who can't demolish sheds.
Oh, if you're wearing
an approved Mikey,
the shed breakers.
You're okay.
So Mikey, what's that shirt you're wearing, sir?
Oh, this whole thing. This Bin Podcast Network shirt. This whole thing.
Oh, are you from the Bin Podcast Network?
I am. We're actually simul streaming, so if you guys want to scoot on over and say hi, we're very close to our 1,000 subs. So come on over.
How many more do you need?
Oh, it's not on this one. It's usually in the display. We're at 796. So So come on over, everybody over there. Come over, hit the sub, and come on back.
Everyone watching this now went over to the other channel and subscribed, and then came back. You'll be over 1,000.
Yeah,
I think
go
so.
on.
Yeah. I think that would
Go on, you know you want to.
Is
I
there
think
a
I'll
link?
do it.
Cass Little Froggy says gingers and trans need to team up.
And also
That's what I just said.
That shirt that Mikey's wearing has
I
come
agree.
all the way from Uxbridge.
Uxbridge.
All the way to Chicago.
Mikey,
Via Basildon.
link in the group chat so people can pop over to your thingy.
Yeah.
So put it in this group chat and then people can.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I think I have to do that. I can do that.
Oh, nice.
In a moment, but first, I'll say thank you to Deborah L for the 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you. We love getting Canadian dollars on the show. I recently argued with someone who claimed Muslim men were responsible for most rapes in the UK and should be deported. I said, hello, have you met white men? By that metric, white men need banning worldwide. So yeah, there you go.
Bishop.
I'll argue with that.
I'm just looking at the numbers.
Because I like to suck dick.
What?
There we are.
What?
Where did that come from?
What's that?
And we're here now.
Because I like
Scott
to
just
suck,
announced something.
Who knew?
I had no idea. I'm shocked.
But yes, so I was gonna link to the Bin Podcast Network. But yes, I will do that while we talk. But yeah,
I made yourself.
we should really get back onto the main topic of tonight because I think we've been
trans
around houses. Yeah.
Disgusting.
And the implications of this ruling, and the fact that this is a huge blow to feminism, and you know, Tan or Han, if you want to talk about this a little bit more about just how self-defeating this whole fucking thing is, because we need to give arguments to people watching this when they talk to their friends, when they talk to their neighbors, and some shit from the tabloid newspapers spat at them. They need to have like the response to say, hang on, have you thought about this? Like what Mike was talking about earlier, where he says,
What are your thoughts, Hannah? I've already talked loads, especially about Jacob Rees-Mogg at a strip club and such. So I think I need to hand over the baton to you. No pressure, mate. No pressure.
I think it's about all women, actually. I think this is going to be a trickle down. It's framed as it's about trans women. It's not about that. It's this misogyny that we have in the patriarchal society, because there's no way to really categorize women. So if we were talking about earlier, a member of the police force decides that you look trans because they fancy you, there are powers to be abused here, and we already know that the police force does that. Sarah Everard, hello.
The rapists every week.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is actually really dangerous, and the women that are celebrating it don't realise how dangerous it is, because there is no way to visibly see or prove your fucking chromosomes. I was born a female. I mean, scrape back today, but I present as a very let's say like Western societally acceptable version of a woman. Like, I'm curvy, I am very tall, but I have very long hair, I wear makeup, all of that kind of stuff. So like, I'm the acceptable female form. There are masculine women, there are women with deeper voices, there are women who don't have big boobs. When there's no way of proving things, you are opening yourself up to people's own biases. So if someone just doesn't like the look of you, or they do like the look of you, this is where we're going to see, masculine presenting lesbians coming across problems. I've seen stories of people who have been going through chemo that have been accosted in bathrooms because they're fucking bald and actually they're going through a potentially terminal illness. You're opening yourself up to people judging this on perceived femininity, and that is extremely fucking dangerous for all women.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Not just the physical traits, but also the traits that aren't seen as ladylike too. Yeah. So if you don't behave yourself as they want a woman to behave themselves, but then there's also the stats about statues and, you know, all that business. So it's an absolute fucking minefield. Oh, shit, sorry. It's an absolute minefield when you think about it.
So I've just done some statistics, if anyone would like to know, about the difference between sexual assaults and the R word. I don't know if I can say it on here. For the clergy compared to SA and the R word from transgender women. So women and children are 9 times more likely to be SA and R worded by people of the clergy than by transgender women. Statistically in the UK, based on people who have been sent to prison for those.
Well, of course they are. I mean, this is...
In case anyone wants to use that for future.
And yeah, no, of course. And 90+% of rapes and sorry, I said the R word, that, and it's crazy that when you can't even say the crime.
No, you can say it on this channel.
The 90+% of rapes and other violent crimes globally are committed by cisgendered men. Globally, it's a global. I've been saying for years that it's an epidemic, and I have been laughed at and mocked online. And now the articles are starting to come out that it's an epidemic, and everyone's still kind of sitting around going, "Oh, yeah, but what about the trans women?" It's like, fuck off. Like, so it's just another way to take away from really important causes. Like, I know we've spoken about this before. The fact that black women are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth because their pain isn't believed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the ways that the possible way that a woman could die could be diagnosed is like pale skin. The same with domestic abuse. Bruises aren't as visible on black skin for women. So women are more likely to die of domestic abuse. And Valerie's Law recently, they tried to bring that in. I helped I shared the petition to try and get that to be debated, and they just sent back a stock answer saying, well, we're not going to offer any additional training. It was simply to offer a bit of additional training to the police so that they could see the physical signs of domestic abuse on black skin women more. They refused it. It's like, what the hell? And then there's also there's so many different things. Oh, the fact that I talked about earlier, a woman's more likely to secure a rape conviction after she's been killed by her attacker.
Yeah, that one.
So, and we've got the rise of the far right. We've got the rise of the Tates radicalizing boys. It all started, a lot of this pipeline started before Tate with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
He was one of the first people to bring on
Incel Kermit.
Incel Kermit, like Valium Kermit. Yeah, he was the one who was like, oh, tidy your room, but also women are less than men. And we're going to try and remove
not as
now.
good as men are.
Was it the See Something bill where he tried to remove, he took umbrage to using pronouns correctly. And then, so he seeded this kind of like misogynistic kind of like women are inferior bullshit under the guise of pseudo-intellectualism. And then we had the Tates that were just open with it, and they were allowed to grow. Platforms would not take them down, whereas women calling out those guys had their accounts removed. If I call out men that abuse me online, I will get my account put at risk. The men's content will stay up. Like, this is how it's always operated with moderation. Like, women, like, I'm sure you can relate to this, Han, like on TikTok and such, if you clap back, you have to tone police how you clap back at the people abusing you, because you will get your video taken down or removed or etc. So it's from moderation to the content that's allowed, to the way that it's so easily able to get into everyone's little squares that they're constantly on all day. And it's just a process of radicalization. So I don't know how you stop it besides, I don't know, blotting out the internet signal, but then everyone will go mental. So
see, this is where I don't think words like systemic and other such words are
Idris Elba.
appropriate because it's ingrained. It's literally ingrained. It's the programming that we get. Like
into people.
It's just drawn in. Like, I mean, especially this week with all the conversations about trans, the amount of people that I've overheard conversations with, and I'm like that. I want to jump in. I'm like, no, because you know, but they're not ready. They're not ready for what I'm going to try and say, because I'm going to be like saying, look, how much does this affect you? Like, how bothered are you? You have been triggered by certain things that make you feel insecure. And why do you feel insecure? Because you're not the apex predator right now. Someone else is trying to sort of like, stand on a level pedestal with you, and you don't like it. Well, and what you're trying to do is like reinforce that belief that you are the geezer, you are the straight white man. Everything else is underneath you, and that's it. That's the way of the world.
What's the famous quote? What's the famous quote for that? It's when someone asks for equal rights.
When equality makes you feels like oppression.
Feels like oppression.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Yeah. That's the way it goes. And it's true. And it's like the other thing that came into my mind when you were talking just then was it's not fucking pie. Like someone else having a bit of extra, a slice it's not someone taking a slice away from you. The pie remains. They're just getting.
There are more pies. This isn't the only pie.
It's not pie.
But
it's not.
But they've been told that there's a limited amount of pie, and there's not a limited amount of pie. There's unlimited pie. We could even make more pies if we needed to. So then more people can eat.
But I mean, to go back to the whole trans debate, it's like whenever I hear these conversations, I want to say to these people, like, how many trans people do you know? Like, how is this affecting your life? Why are you so animated about it? Why are you so agitated and aggravated?
I don't wait.
But Mikey, I'm not like you. I don't have a Glock in my blooming.
I would fight them.
Bedside cabinet.
Hit him with, sure you can.
Hopefully not like that, Tan. I think that
I'll go with a tiger uppercut. Yeah. Or stand there for 7 episodes, powering up until my hair turns yellow.
Can I just on a slightly lighter note show you the sign I'm going to carry tomorrow, Dan. Jules?
On that note, we got a super chat earlier from Andy Thompson. Thank you so much, Andy. Said, dismantle the patriarchy one shed at a time.
I love it. I love it.
I could have been dismantling.
Dead Rebecca Jules.
No, it's kind of like the modern washing my hair, isn't it?
Jules was speaking.
Get on a t-shirt.
Jules was speaking in code. He's like, I'm not going to the protest because I'm dismantling the whole shed. You gotta think. He's bringing down the structure of the
very
patriarchy.
Much like Liz Truss.
All together. From the inside.
I mean, I really wish I was joking. I wish it was that metaphorical, but it's really not. It's real.
It's moving. Yeah. You cover it up.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, it just all went blurry.
All blurry, mate.
I think that's computer generated. I think
it is. It is. It's AI. I've got ChatGPT.
We just know you've been using ChatGPT.
You just use ChatGPT. Hey, give me a picture of a shed that someone might have to take apart on a weekend.
And in front of the shed, there's Jules in a balaclava.
No. He's going full like woad on the cheeks, drinking a spiritual mead with his claw hammer.
No. A sour beer, as Tan would know.
Oh, here we go. Sour beer.
Jules once gave me a beer on the way to this gig.
What flavour was it? It was like a sweet, like a certain British sweet flavour.
You sick bastard. It was some kind of like sour. It's like some sour.
It's probably beetroot.
No.
Strawberry like cream. It's so rare that I can't drink. I'm British, I'll drink anything, and it was so bad that
You don't drink anything. Come on, Tan.
I made yourself.
I know where she lives, and her tap water is foul.
No, we're given a beer at like we get tastes of beers at like 4 years old. It was so bad that I can power through most.
You were very polite.
Oh, Jordan, I was not polite.
No, you were. You were. I was sitting there driving, and you were like, "I don't think I can drink this." I was like, "Okay."
I scowled. I was
So you gave it to the driver?
made mistakes.
Yeah.
yeah, and then he downed it, and then it was a much more fun car ride.
Hey, curbs just keep us on a straight and narrow.
It was just so bad, Jules. Like it was just like it was one of your bloody hipster beers. It was like.
I just want to highlight a chat that's come in from Jane West. In 2004, a trans woman won Big Brother. It was Nadia Almeida, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nadia, yeah.
Nobody cared.
No.
Terrifying how this has happened in just a few years.
Was that not the same series where Anthony impregnated
They had sex in the
swimming pool, and she said, "Chief, I think I'm pregnant."
Was that the one where that woman called Kinga stuck a wine bottle up her vag?
No,
that was a year after.
That was
I think.
What? Don't do that. It creates suction.
Makosi, that was her name.
You have to make sure that the cork is in there, otherwise you might not get it out. Anyway, I'm not talking from personal experience or not.
It seemed like an awful lot of detail.
It sounds very, very,
very specialized knowledge.
You have to drill a hole in the
experimentation.
Stick a bottle up there, create suction. You'll never get it out. Zante Sunken
Not
Amy.
with that attitude.
Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. We grew up on White Lightning.
Yes.
White Lightning in the park.
My initials.
I did as well. I got
You
converted to craft hipster.
drank I drank who?
Massive fucking bottle of White Lightning.
Yeah.
It's like a 3 litre bottle.
3 litre bottle of White
Yeah.
Lightning. I remember. I went to South Green after Rollermania, 1995. Right. Rollermania.
Biggity whacked.
3 litre bottle of White Lightning on me roller skates, and I was puking everywhere. Me mate Greg's mum come pick me up, and I was like puking out the side of her.
Best
I've got a
years
great
of your
message
life,
here
Wayne.
from
Best years of your life.
Simply Secular Dave says, "Here, try this. What is it? Pineapple hemp IPA." Honestly, I've had something along those lines, and it was fucking rank. It was just...
It's an acquired taste. I will give you all that.
Simply Secular Dave is part of the Bin crew. He's with me. He's one of my favorite Canadians.
Yay!
Yes.
Hey, Dave.
Elbows
Ask
up,
him
bud.
if he's ever tried an Alco Pop.
Keeping our elbows up, bud.
Oh, we have Cozy on board as well. Yay! It's the Brady Bunch. Woo!
It's a full house.
Me mum's mate.
Hiya, kids.
How you doing, Cozy? Are you in the dark?
I am.
You're a bit spooky, mate. You're a little
I
bit.
need better light.
Ghost watch.
I thought there was going to
Are
like.
you coming from the future?
Tell us it all works out in the end, Cozy. For God's sake, please tell us.
It was going to be like
Hey?
chain letter style thing.
Yeah, I was just saying.
No,
Tell us
I mean-
it's going to turn out okay. Now, Cozy, so you've got close family members who are trans, and like, I mean, how's this week been? Has it just been a fucking nightmare? I mean, is there hope on the horizon? How's it looking?
I'm exhausted from sort of trying to balance things out. Like on the one hand, I'm trying to reassure my trans friends and community members, and just trying to keep them calm and keeping them from completely losing their tiny minds and freaking out and thinking they're going to be actually stopped from going into toilets. And on the other hand, I'm sort of trying to shake awake potential allies and saying, well, this ruling in and of itself isn't necessarily going to change an awful lot, but it's a wedge, and it's the thin end of the wedge, and it's what we have to worry about is what is this going to be used for? How are different organizations, how are different institutions going to use this to then create trans exclusionary spaces? And I'm bloody knackered. It's exhausting. On the one hand, you're kind of trying to keep damping everybody down and kind of go, okay, just breathe. All right, just breathe, calm down. And on the other, it's like, no, we do have to worry about this. It's not just about toilets. The kids are okay. They're not too arsed. They're sort of in their bubble, and they asked me what it's about and what it means. So I told them that, it just applies to the EA. gender reassignment is still a protected characteristic. It might lead to other things in the future, but so they're okay. They're like, okay, whatever. But not everybody feels that way. And the GCs and the TERFs gloating is just sick, frankly.
Yeah,
Really
we talked about that tonight. It's makes you sick to your stomach. It's the same, you know, when they won the Brexit vote, when you know Trump won in America, just like the gloating of like the people whose lives are going to get demonstrably worse, and yet they don't seem to realize that they're going to get worse. They think that they've won this great victory against the blob or whatever they call us, you know.
They're happy for women to be reduced down to biology.
Oh, they don't care. Like
they're happy for that. That's all they care about.
There are lots of, like with everything, there are lots of different strands. There are those who basically see any gender identity as something that is misogynist. I've just literally 5 minutes ago replied to somebody on Facebook who was saying, oh, it's all gender identity is inherently misogynistic, homophobic, and regressive. And I can see where they're coming from. Yes, it is. If you're forcing gender stereotypes on somebody, then yes, it is. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the gender identities that people have found in themselves and that they are themselves expressing. We're talking about people's freedom to express themselves, what is in their own souls. How can that be, how can it be misogynistic to tell a woman who's a woman inside to be a woman?
Night, Billy.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's infuriating because a lot of people have waded into this discussion and they've got no place in it. And I know that people will say, someone like me, cisgender man, why are you having an opinion on this? I am repeating what's been said to me by trans people, by people who are actually living these experiences, and I'm repeating what they say. I'm not repeating what I read in the fucking Murdoch press. I'm not repeating what I read, in the turfy bullshit that you read on Twitter, whatever the fuck it calls itself these days. So, I mean, if you are going to have a strongly felt view on this, please get informed before you start spouting this stuff and realize what's waiting down the line.
And it's funny, sport seems to be the entry drug.
Yeah.
Sport's the gateway.
Absolutely.
So again, in the same thread,
Ban white men. Today,
there was a man who was talking about, and he actually, your friend Susan Kovaciuk, she was very patient with him, and she challenged him but gently, and she drew out where he's coming from, what brought him to this way of thinking. And he was like, well, I play rugby and that's my chosen sport for many, many years. I played it myself. So does my wife. And the thought of some bloke in the, prop forward against the front line of a women's rugby team. And I understand the vision in his head when he imagines this. But that's not the reality. And also, that is up to the sports federation to manage and to legislate for.
We're trying to simplify a really complicated issue, and it's so common nowadays. Like gender and even like intersex, everything like that. It's not a simple thing, but they're trying to simplify it. And it's in that process of trying to simplify it that you get all of the kind of the ability for the bigots to kind of seep in.
And I think we have
and also, Cozy,
we're dealing with people. Most people do not have a biology scientific education to the point to discuss this as an expert. We have a very limited education on biology, yet everyone is talking as if they read some shit on the internet.
Everyone's an expert.
Therefore, everyone's a biologist.
I went to
Is it
Facebook
just
University,
me, or is Scott
actually.
really, really quiet?
Yes,
Pardon?
he is.
I'm really quiet.
Now you're a little better.
not used to this from you, Scott, my
yeah,
darling.
Scott, yeah, Scott. Normally I'm having to turn the gain down on my headphones.
It's your mic. It's a bit quieter, but you're right about stats. It's the same with like you have that with Brexit. You have it with a whole bunch of things.
It's what they always say is common sense, and common sense means there's no maths or science involved in this process.
And the stats for you know what they were saying were like loads of Pakistani rapists and all that kind of stuff. Like people don't have an understanding of people, and like it happened loads during COVID, which I thought opened the floodgates for loads of other conspiracy. These people didn't even have the basic level of understanding to determine or understand stats, and they're claiming they're doing their own research and like ignoring epidemiologists and stuff. So it's kind of it all comes back a lot of it to the conspiracy pipeline where people.
The idea that experts don't know what they're talking about.
But for God's sake, we pay experts good money to be experts.
Literally that.
To waste of money, just ask a bloke down the pub, a white bloke down the pub. He knows everything.
Your experts have got nothing to do with the anecdotal data that I have in my very small sphere of this world.
That's been fed to you by Rupert Murdoch.
Well, here I've got some of these. I got some of these scientific papers. So here, like we're gonna go through the data here. Just take the data to the pub. Like, hey man, you get this right? No. You got to check out the appendix, like the page 37 of the appendix. Oh, now that is where
you do not know how many arguments I've had with people down the pub like that. And I'll sit there and I'll Google it and I'll just hand like, here is MIT survey results.
But they
and
won't
they're like,
more like woke IT.
Let's not argue.
They won't listen.
Let's not argue. I have done arguing with fuckwits that don't know what they're talking about.
I don't think we should argue
university. I'm not saying I do, but I'm damn well saying that I got a better idea about trans people than a straight white man does because I have more exposure to it.
Scott, University of Life, mate, you know?
Kirsty in the chat. Hi, Kirsty. How you doing? Saying Weatherspoons University, now experts in gender, also epidemiology and international trade.
Yeah, but have you seen you can get a punk IPA for $3.99 on a Monday? Yeah.
So Deborah L, thank you so much for the 20 Canadian dollars. Saying people fear what they don't know. We need to expose people to trans people so they do not see a threat. You know, it could be a neighbor, a friend, for all you know. In my Canadian city, we have trans story time, times to help kids with this, of course, and also with protesters. And then Ernie Burns making the point, like, you know, we're defending human rights. We're all human, and this whole thing is, you know, the need to. Scott, is that Scott? Scott, turn your mic off.
CIA
the CIA listening to us. You can just watch us on just watch us on YouTube, mate.
Sorry.
If you look outside Scott's flat, it says black helicopters just descending right now.
Whichever federal agent is watching me right now, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Ernie Burns.
Smash that notification button.
Oh, what? Are we streaming on both Politics Social and the Bin Podcast?
Yeah, we're streaming on both. We're streaming all over the place. We're streaming everywhere.
We are everywhere.
Anyway,
dozens of people will see this.
I just need to get through a few more chats. Eddie Burns saying we need to humanize trans. Nadia was seen as a person, not as an identity, which is very 100%. True. Which is why the platforming of trans people is so important. The more we can get people like India, Willoughby, and Rachel, obviously, and Katie Montgomery, and also Helen Belcher from Transactual, onto platforms that people are watching, getting them on TV, having people have these conversations with them, and humanizing, so they're not just seen as the other, which is the issue. When we're talking about there being like loads more ginger people than trans people, there's a good chance that you know a ginger person, whereas a lot of people don't know any trans people.
Nobody knows a ginger person for real because they've got no soul.
How sad their lives must be and how boring. I mean, like it's like the whole, like stale white bread bullshit of Britain. Like you get people who like have never hung out. Like my neighbours, one side a Gurkha family, the other side were Nigerian. Like amazing food, like amazing conversation.
Tan, I like your priorities here.
Yeah,
by the way,
the food, the spread. Let me tell you.
I wanted some jollof rice. That's what it was all about. I was exchanging friendship for jollof rice.
Yeah,
my kingdom.
That is how friendships are made.
I'm super tempted to ask what a trans cuisine is, but you
know. Just to say, Deborah L has just said it's worth £10, Graham, talking about 20 Canadian dollars. And it's not as great as it seems. Yeah, but it's such a these are such lovely notes. These are Canadian notes. I just got that through my computer. My computer just printed that out.
Graham,
Graham,
I'm going to need you to unplug from the internet right now and start running.
Start running. Graham, did you just admit to like literally printing money?
I just
yeah. I've got. Someone gave 20 American dollars. There's Andrew Jackson. He was.
Oh my God, they're gonna get him. Oh Lord.
They are. There's 1,000 things. From
scramble. Code word. Scramble.
Is that how super chats work? The cash actually comes out of your.
It comes out. Someone gave Canadian money. It's got like a shark on it or something. That's really cool.
They always have cool shit on their money.
Yeah. Honduras,
I'm not jealous. You're jealous.
That's not as cool. I'm sure we've got some Kwanzas here or Quatches or some Quetzals. There you go. Bank of Guatemala. Some Quetzals for you there.
That's a very cool
sorry,
bird.
Alistair, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Just get to the target, says Alistair. Sorry, did we go off? Did you go off on one there slightly? Sorry, that was me. Oh, anyway, where were we? We were talking about Wayne. Wayne, you were telling us something.
I've forgotten. Sorry, I got distracted.
It was the price of a pint of IPA Punk in Wetherspoons.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, it was not $3.99. It's $2.99.
Transginger. I like that.
Oh, it's still going one of his pubs. The wanker, is it Tim Martin or something?
Yeah. I'll tell you what it is. Right. I had to because my car was knackered. You know, my Audi A4 convertible. Sorry.
You never mentioned. I know. Apparently, Graham's got an island.
Really?
Really? I never knew that.
And he travelled the world without using airplanes.
I didn't travel the world without using airplanes.
How many countries have you been
to? I went to every country in the world without an airplane.
Oh, sorry. Did I not suck up enough, sir? I'm sorry.
He went into. You make it sound like I went fucking intervailing. Like, give out Guinness World Records for intervailing, Mike.
Mike, can
his book is available from Amazon.
Thank you. There you go. More like it.
He's an amazing traveller in the. Anyway,
Mike,
you don't pay me enough for this.
Girls, you're all pretty.
Mike Dix has got fucking Sports Billy's bag next to him. He can just pull out anything he likes.
What do you want?
Wayne, the good news is we have made 10 out of 10 on our goal for Super Chat. So that means that you're allowed to come on the channel.
Yeah.
Hey. So I can invite you on now.
I love the way that that was such a sad, muted yay. It was like everyone's
like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
You're allowed on the channel now. Bernice, thank you very much for the £3 super chat. Really appreciate that, Bernice. And is this weekend Spanksgiving? Says Simply Secular Dave.
I hope so.
Is it Spanksgiving?
Every weekend is Spanksgiving.
If you go to the right
morning is Thanksgiving.
If you're brave enough.
To the right part of Soho, it is. Yeah.
There'd have to be a Spanx receiving element to the weekend. Otherwise, we just all run around slapping each other. That's not going to work.
Back to the politics for a quick second here. Those pillars I was talking about previously.
Pillow.
Come on, Wayne, reel it in. While everything is in chaos. Now is the time to put in a pillar that should have been there all along. This is how this always happens. It's during a war or once a war ends or when something, it's amidst the chaos that some actual progressive reform happens. So we use what we have to do what we need to do. When all of this bad stuff starts happening I think it would be a great idea to start branding right now, getting a sticker or something that you can put in the window of a coffee shop or a pub or something like that, but trans friendly.
Yeah.
And you let
trans inclusionary spaces.
And you let motherfuckers not put their sticker up. And when foot traffic is not what it used to be. you're going to be on your own, because there's going to be the trans-friendly people and the people who believe in civil rights and people who are anti-MAGA or whatever the case may be. Those people will stick to themselves, and you will have to tough this out on your own. You will not get support.
A lot of coffee shops are posting. I've seen a bunch of them on social media today where they're putting up little signs saying trans, fuck this, trans people are welcome here,
Right.
And that's nice. There has been an outpouring of support. There really has. I've seen it.
I've got to say, I live in Brighton. We don't need the stickers, basically.
No, you're all right, mate. You're all right.
On my social media, I suppose I do have a bunch of bloody lefties and like progressive people, but it has been like huge amounts of support from what I've seen from people.
Yeah, I would concur with that.
Yeah,
but it's gotta be marketable, and it's gotta be public.
It's gotta be visible as well.
It's gotta be public facing, and it's gotta be something where it's not because like. Black Lives Matter, remember that? When everyone said all lives matter until all lives were being put in cages, and they said except for those lives, and then they just dropped the whole thing because it was just a whole plot to dismiss black people. The sentiment was right about Black Lives Matter. It's still the case. This is the ongoing push of the civil rights movement. This is the same push. This is the same bigotry. We pushed it back a little bit, but it is still here. So the things that we did not accomplish during the 60s need to be done now. And without fear of retribution or fear of acceptance. No, fine. Then I just will announce that my business is trans friendly, since it needs to be stated now. And if people don't want to state it, hey, that's up to them. I mean, they didn't state that they were trans friendly. You go to who you think it, and then it is upon us as consumers to only shop at those places and not just fall for the capitalist trap, which is the downfall of every social movement is economics, is you have to shop at those places.
Can I just highlight a very massive own goal that the Turf Brigade have portrayed? They was standing on the steps of the Supreme Court in Scotland with their own flags draped around them, going, "Oh, this is our flag, this is our thing." Right. So thank you very much, because if I see that flag flying outside of an establishment, I'm gonna scoot on by. I ain't going in there.
Do they have a flag of their own?
Well done, everyone.
Do they have a flag?
Yes.
The irony, the absolute irony.
I know, like flag shaggers. I mean, what does the flag look like? Does anyone know what it looks like?
Yeah, it's like black, purple, and white, I believe.
Oh,
it's going to be terribly designed, whatever it is.
Mike's like, let me see this. Let me analyze this.
Let me see if I can find it quick.
Almost as bad as their tailoring.
Oh God.
Meow, tan.
Oh, they're ugly. No, go on, get it. You've got to get the flag out.
Alistair's asking who the new faces are. So we've got Bedhead Jules down at the bottom there. Give us a wave, Jules. You still there? Yay!
Oh.
And we've also got.
Have you been tapping away?
Yeah, it's kind of these are the. I don't know if you can see.
Turn your brightness down.
Wait,
turn your brightness down.
Wayne, we can't see that.
Wayne, and also we've got Hannah Janes in the chat as well.
I sub to Hannah's channel.
Hannah, do I know you from somewhere?
She's on TikTok.
She's everywhere.
I don't have TikTok.
You might have got into a female shopping place store. And there's been a picture of one.
I walk down the street and I see Hannah.
Hannah, are you married?
Am I married? No.
Oh, then you're not. It's not you. Somebody else.
I was like, damn, Cozy going for the kill already. Damn, Cozy.
What's Wayne trying to show us? Wayne, why are you trying to show us something? What are you trying to show us?
Trying to show us the flag.
Put it back.
Just does not show up.
Wayne,
looks like
listen to me.
I've turned my brightness down.
Hold it by you. Just hold it because.
No, it's just coming up
it's
too
just
white.
reflecting the TV, mate.
That's
what I'm saying.
Pure white.
Right,
what are we supposed to be looking at? What's this flag?
Google turf flag.
It's like a Ku Klux Klan
There's a turf flag. Oh my God.
Are they identifying as turfs? Is that what I'm to gather here? They're identifying as turfs? Is that what
am I going to have
trans exclusionary
poison
rancid fascists?
okay.
Alistair, thank you very much.
Up with the
Thank you
turf
very
flag
much.
is confusing.
Yeah, it's basically.
Thank you very much for the £2 super chat, and also Andy Thompson. Thank you so much. Quick suggestion: insert a single hyphen into some public signs. Transport for London.
Yeah, it's basically purple, white, and green.
Oh yeah, I'll look it up. I mean, I could just look it up, couldn't I? I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there
If only
trying
you
to
had a
figure out
device
Sorry.
in your hand.
So it's using the suffragette colours, isn't it?
For fuck's sake, my brain is so melted that I just typed Wayne into.
Don't look at the results, Tan. Don't look at the results.
There's going to be adverts for Wayne now forever on your
Wayne
internet
turf
that you typed it in.
Wait, oh my God, so many pictures.
Don't type Wayne flag into.
I just typed
Wayne, do you have your own flag?
Maybe.
I would show you what came up when I typed Wayne into Google, but it's just a TV series.
Apparently, according to Kaz, the flag colours are unfortunately similar to genderqueer flags, so be careful.
Yeah,
they've made their flag.
Right.
Wayne does have a flag because he is a lord.
They stole the suffragette colours, according to Jane. Purple,
it is
green and white, which pisses me off.
Of course they fucking did. Of course they fucking did.
Turf flag is confusing.
I said that, women not being able to vote is the same as women being scared that someone might. I don't even know what they're scared of anymore. Piss next to them and not be.
Make them say what they believe out loud and record it and shame them for it.
The turf flag's ugly, by the way, just like it's.
Well, I also heard someone say that they shouldn't use the term turf; they should use fart instead.
Yeah, I saw.
Feminism appropriating ridiculous transphobe.
I like it, but if you are going to use turf, then it's.
Wait, they're using the suffragette colours, aren't they?
How fucking dare they?
Yeah.
They do. It really pisses me off. Actually,
dare they? How dare they? The suffragettes would have, because they were badasses.
They would have mopped the floor with them.
They'd firebombed them. Like they literally blew up shit. You know, like they were hardcore. Like nowadays, like the suffragettes would have been locked up as terrorists.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, they were.
Right, guys,
they
were
absolutely.
Ruth.
I thought I'd leave you with that little
110 years ago.
bomb.
Ruth in the chat has dropped the Scottish flag, the Scottish Saltaire, the flag of Saint Andrew, saying the best flag and a little heart. Does it have a dragon? Does it have a dragon? No, it's not.
Does Scouser Island have a dragon on its flag?
Every flag I design has.
It's a bunch of Scottish women, well-wished people that brought us this malarkey.
A stupid. Honestly, and it's annoying because like loads of the Scots that I meet are normally really sound. I love Scots.
Oh yeah. I'm married to one.
Yeah, no diss to Scotland here. I mean,
sorry, Gordon Ramsay.
I think the English, on the whole, the English have done worse things to Scotland than Scotland.
I've got to say the Lynch tartan is a sick tartan.
I love it.
Which one?
The Lynch tartan, my surname. The Lynch tartan.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
At first, I thought
you may laugh.
It's just a drill put in a hole in a wall.
What lives next to my bed?
Is it Lynch tartan?
There is a Lynch tartan. There is a Lynch tartan.
There isn't a real
red tartans of the world. All right, let's have a look.
There isn't a real Hughes tartan. There's one that they just made up because they thought they'd have to make up everyone's surname so they can sell some. I don't know.
It's blue with
it's very simple. If you want a tartan associated with your surname, you need to have approximately £4,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever the amount is to make a minimum
Hughes is a Welsh surname.
The fabric, and then you can have your tartan registered. Let's see, Limerick, Lynch with a Y, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't this all an invention of Queen Victoria?
I can't believe she's got the book. She's like, let's just thumb through here. L-Y, I assume.
Lying there in her bed, like flipping through a tartan. I love the way you've got that by your bed as well.
Tartans of the world, spice up your life.
You see all these stains? They're from my teacup every morning. That's literally what my mug sits on every morning.
What's going to send me to sleep? The Book of fucking Tartan.
Blue with a white stripe. Nice.
I do have to go.
So do I, actually.
So do I, because it's past midnight, and I've got to feed me mogwai.
I'm also very cool and have stuff to do.
Find the lynch tartan now, aren't I?
You have stuff to do. I really enjoyed your contributions, Mikey. Like what you said tonight when you did like your little Mikey corner. I'm with you, man. I would join your fight or rally.
Yeah, kill all the white
people.
I did not say that. Chill out, Scott. Chill out, Scott.
Tan, be careful.
Song by a heavy metal band.
No,
Scott's gone full Kingpin.
I'd love to join.
Lynch is not in here.
Lynch isn't in there because it's not a Scottish name.
Tan,
Yeah, but they've
shouldn't be
got
in there
some
either.
Irish tartans as well, but Irish tartans tend to be based on a location rather than name.
This is Lynch tartan.
Hey, Lipchin saying, don't you dare bring the Scottish flag into disrepute, boyo, or they'll be held to pay.
Like your accent.
Let me tell that boy. That's what they've written it. They've written like that. But yeah, I'm not dissing the Scottish flag. It's a fucking beautiful flag. It's a great flag. It is a good flag. I mean, it is a good flag.
Graham's only saying it because of his proximity to Scotland right now.
No, I honestly did. I did a whole thing when I was traveling around the world. I did the whole thing about.
Sorry,
I rated every flag in the world.
Graham, can you just give me
flag,
like
I think
the hand
the Scottish
signal
flag
before you
got
start
about 9.
talking about the book?
The Scottish flag would have got 10 had it had a dragon on it, but it didn't have a dragon.
You've got to give Mike heads up, man, so he can get the book
Yeah,
out.
man,
what you want to do?
I need us to organize this. We all need a copy of the book, or at least something that looks like his book. And then when he ever says, if he ever says anything about traveling, say, and we all have to get him at the same time. It'll be great.
You remember that old Microsoft screensaver where the little Microsoft thing used to come up? We need to just have that just floating around our screens. Little boxes.
I'll distribute it as a graphic. We can all use it next week.
I think that having a sticker on the door of businesses saying trans friendly, I think is a fantastic
That's a great idea.
Good plan, Mikey.
We should get moving on.
Or like a little welcome mat or whatever. Just something visible that people can see. I'm not full of shit.
That's what you wipe your feet on, mate.
Yeah.
I mean,
but honestly, there were two cafes next door to each other, and one had a trans-friendly sticker in the window. I'd prefer to go there than the other one, just in case, because I don't want to be served tea by TERFs.
And they're like, "Why are you coming in here?" I'm like, "Because you're a Karen."
And because you're more interesting and fun and good-looking than the TERF cafe.
Arctic Bear's throwing the Finnish flag in there. Hey, Arctic Bear, how you doing? Better flag.
Hey, the emojis come
I can talk.
You mean the completed flag?
Is throwing the Swedish flag in.
The completed flag, not the finished flag.
Oh, very good. I like what you did.
Right, on that
bombshell, thank you so much to our guests tonight on the panel. We've had Mike Dix, we've had Scott Williams, we've had Mikey Famine, we've had Super Tansky, we've got Hannah, we've got Julesy Bedhead, we've had Wayne Maker, and we've got Cozy Durafel Hill. So thank you so much to everyone who has been watching tonight. Thanks to everyone who gave a super chat or just gave a chat. Lovely for you to come along. And I'll be back on Sunday morning with the Sunday service at 9 o'clock. So hopefully I'll see. Oh, no, actually, shit, Hannah, we're doing a show tomorrow, aren't we? Nearly forgot.
We will see you guys this weekend. We got more Patreon content coming out, so you guys will be able to see some of that cool stuff. We have a free tier on the Patreon, and if anything should happen to the channel, please make sure that you are following us on the Patreon. But I'm ready to eat some lunch, so thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon.
A tosser. Indeed.
How Essex.
A tosser dramatic. Okay, until next time, thanks very much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Night night.
Oh, is it
This is the funny bit where we've turned the mics off for my stream, but Mike